Well, I mean, the calculations are some way. So it's a question of whether this one fails, that one fails, this one fails. So if one fails or one finishes, another has to kick in.
If one what finishes?
Yeah, so you don't know what exactly it is. We've been told that they have heard some sound from the Canadians.
So the people can't find them.
Yeah, for now. 3 countries have come together with plenty of equipment to find the people.
Millions of dollars they are using to search them. You know, when there are.
Yeah, we
pray that they should come.
I think the way you are going is almost like you are saying they shouldn't have gone.
Wait, I'm not saying. I'm saying.
Like we are trying to say that. Why are you going?
No, there? I'm capable of saying what I want to say.
Yes. Yeah, it looks like you want to say that.
I'm saying that. Now we are spending millions of US dollars
to find them.
They're trying to find them, right?
Yeah.
And if you know the history of the Titanic, sometimes people become very curious. And then the name of the submersible is Titan.
Now it's okay. Let's do our paper. No, I'll give you some time to explain this.
We pray that we find them.
On the front page of the Daily Graphic is a massive ship too.
Yes, an oil vessel.
It's called the FPSO Kwame Nkrumah.
Okay.
And according to the reports, 40,000 barrels boost oil production. Tullow partners now drill over 100,000 per day. Good news. Charles Bisu arrested, granted bail. High Court rules on Kwesi's trial timelines tomorrow. And on the constitutional review, chiefs demand more powers. Yeah.
Okay, let me take you to the Ghanaian Times. In the wake of IMF program, Protect All Vulnerable Groups, the CRI is advising the government. Court grants Jachi Kwesi green light to campaign. Why? Was he prevented from campaigning previously?
Not to attend the hearing in court. So that means that it's technically, if he's supposed to be in court, he can't campaign. So they are just making that extrapolation.
Ghana's economy increased by 4.2% in first quarter, according to the GSS. And then Springfield signs $750 million facility with Afri-Exim Bank. Charlie, these people, they are giving money, power. Godfrey, we should go for the money. So.
Front page of the Daily Guide, Kennedy. Kennedy shakes NPP in flag bearer race and comes with a photo of a smiling Kennedy at Japan and a crowd that he has drawn. I'll give you details on that later. Your recent poll in partnership with Global Info Analytics showed that he is the third force in this race for now. Minority attacks Baumia. Maintain free senior high school at all costs.
Okay, let me take you to the Chronicle. Chachu flies off the handle, hits hard at Dame in court again. The two men have their photographs here on the front page of the Chronicle. Also, Dombos want Baumia to lead NPP. Another story says Jogate deserves to lead NPP, according to a farmer. And then a final story on the front page says that Okodumja Nana Benying Nising
Mbia
the second passes on, Charlie. This is very heavy.
Front page of the Anchor newspaper, finally from me, Bernard. Hajj board cancels last airlift after shambolic organization. Mobile money vendor shot dead at Akachi as insecurity heightens, according to this paper. If you watch this, community mining sites are illegal. This is the Minerals Commission. And this one says, if you like safing. If you like safing.
Are these all headlines?
Yes. I'm ready that you say. If you like safing.
And who is saying that?
I will expose you all.
Who is saying that?
Failed NDC MP aspirant Des chases executive for campaign cash. If you like safing.
Business Finder says Afri-Exim Bank Springfield signed $750 million credit facility, a big boost for Ghanaian ownership of oil and gas sector. Also, 3 cocoa producers discuss African cocoa pricing body. And then first quarter real GDP increases by 4.2%, according to the GSS again.
Let me take you online. CityNewsroom.com lead story. ASAP is raising red flags over the Torrentco lease agreement. Also, minorities predicting doom for businesses over quarterly utility tariff adjustments. Focus on aggressively exporting excess electricity to government. And then pensioner bondholders forum to resume picketing today over unpaid coupons. So that story keeps coming up. Now, City Business News is saying economic crisis, purchase of luxury items has declined. This is Robert Lindsay. He was speaking on the City Business Festival. Also, PPI drops to 30% for May 2023. And then BOG projects inflation to remain above 10% until 2025. So we're not going to have single-digit inflation until 2025. In my journal line, they are focused on the IGPS to consider assigning personnel to land guard prone areas. They have a story on the missing Titanic submersible, and the story is about the health risks facing the crew. And then the Springfield gets $750 million facility from FBN Bank is also making the news on that website's news feeds. Also, government needs to pull brakes on Torrentico partnership. This is John Jinapo speaking on that very interesting matter. Let's get into the details of the stories this morning.
I think you start from the tour.
Yeah, so the Tor story, there are quite a number of them. The Africa Center for Energy Policies, as well, Director Benjamin Boachi, is raising red flags over the agreement between Tor and a company called Torrentico, who are being leased the Toma Oil Refinery to do some business. Boachi said the deal raises many red flags because it was not done through a competitive bidding process. On Eyewitness News, Mr. Boachi expressed concern about Torrentico's lack of experience in the petroleum industry. He says, in the last year alone, I've seen many companies interested in taking over the asset of Tor. So open it up, be transparent about it. Ask everybody who's interested and say, I want $1 million or I don't want money or whatever. The public will be interested in how you went about the deal and agreed with the final person. And then he goes on to say that senior staff of Tor, in a statement, said Torrentico is the only viable option available to bring Tor back into operation, since successive governments are hesitant to inject capital into the operation. Although some other workers have said they do not support the senior staff position as articulated in a couple of interviews we did yesterday. Now, Minority is also predicting doom, since you want me to continue, over the quarterly review of utility tariffs. But before that, if you can give me the oil story on the graphic front page.
Yes, quite a bit happening. On the front page of the daily graphic, the country's oil production has received a major boost with the addition of about 40,000 barrels of oil per day from the Greater Jubilee Field. The breakthrough by Tullow Oil Ghana and its partners has now restored production from the Jubilee Field to over 100,000 barrels per day, up from the 85,000 barrels per day being produced from the field for the past 3 years.
Right.
FPSO Kwame Nkrumah, the production vessel on the Jubilee Field, has the capacity to process about 120,000 barrels per day. President Nana Akufo-Addo is expected to turn on the valves next month to signal the production of additional oil, and the first from the Jubilee Southeast well.
Let's stay within the oil industry because there's a story on the front page of the Business Finder talking about Afri-Exim Bank Springfield signing $750 million in credit facility. Isaac Adu reporting for the Business Finder says that Springfield Exploration and Production Limited, an independent African energy company, has signed a $750 million facility with the African Export-Import Bank. Now, the funding is expected to add tremendous value to the oil block. Now, the ceremony took place at the just ended Afri-Exim Bank's 30th annual general meeting held in Accra. And then if you go further down there, they provide details of what the money will be used for.
Let me give you two related stories from the power sector this time. So you remember the Atachi has been talking about excess capacity. I interviewed Bembachi last 2 weeks and he said he didn't think excess capacity was the real cause of our problems. Now, another economist seems to agree with him. This is on my journal line. A political and economic risk analyst, Dr. Theo Champon, says the real cause of Ghana's increasing indebtedness in the energy sector are distribution losses and poor tariff management, not excess capacity. Speaking on a radio program monitored by GNA, the economist said the current cause of our mess and why the IPPs are threatening to shut their plants is that the tariff has not been cost reflective, while there are enormous distribution losses. To improve the situation, Dr. Champon said the tariff must continue to go up until such a time that the cedi is stable and fuel prices are stable. He advised the government to revisit the energy sector master plan as proposed by the IMF. Now, I'm bringing this because a minority in parliament is predicting doom for businesses in the coming days following the government's deal with the IMF coupled with quarterly adjustments of utility tariffs, which Mr. Achampon thinks is a good thing. The caucus says the government will increase utility tariffs every 3 months without recourse to the PURC, which will further worsen the high cost of doing business and aggravate the harsh economic conditions. Now, addressing the media, Deputy Ranking on Finance, Isaac Adongo, underscored the impact of such increases on Ghanaians in the coming days. He says every 3 months they will increase electricity and water tariffs without due regard to its impact on individuals, households, and businesses. And they will definitely impact, and this will definitely impact badly in the cost of doing business and feed into the current debilitating inflation inflation and suffering being experienced by Ghanaians. These are big, big words.
I know, right? Let's take it easy. Let me plug into that briefly. There's a story on page 2 of the Chronicle that says ECG Tema region decries encroachment of its facilities. Now, Inusa Musa reporting from Tema says the Tema region of the Electricity Company of Ghana is decrying the rampant nature with which structures are being built within its utility corridor, a situation which poses a danger to lives and properties. Now, the general manager of the region, Engineer Emmanuel Ankoma, told a section of the media at a briefing ceremony that the encroachment was done mainly by chop bar operators, fitting shops, and all sorts of businesses using metal containers such as hair salons, barber shops, and provision shops. Now, these encroachers erect their structures on the ECG's utility corridors, as well as near transformers, substations, and overhead cables, a situation that sometimes impedes repair work. Please, the people doing this, the assembly people, you have to watch them and go and remove them. Otherwise,
it will cause more problems. Now, AGI is not happy with the plans to remove taxes on imported sanitary pads. You know, we're talking about sanitary pads and taxes. Now, the AGI sent out a press statement yesterday, and they say any policy measure by government that seeks to remove taxes on imported sanitary pads at the expense of local manufacturers of the same will be detrimental to the economy. It said much as the waiver of duties or taxes on imported sanitary pads for young women to make the pad more affordable may sound good, it will only end up completely wiping out the few local sanitary pad manufacturers in the country. The AGI, in a statement signed by CEO Seth Chumakwabwa, therefore said the call for removal of duties on imported sanitary pads was misplaced.
so what is the solution?
Our local Our local manufacturers of sanitary pads and diapers have been under pressure from cheap and substandard imports, which sell at closeout. The few sanitary pads manufacturers with the capacity to expand are only producing at about 30% of their capacity on account of the influx of such imports. So it's basically asking for support for the manufacturers so that there will be import substitution. He thinks that the local manufacturers can meet the need for sanitary pads.
The volumes, okay.
So maybe there should be a time lag where their capacity is increased, and then the tariffs can be kept. I don't know.
Okay, let's do some politics. Let me take you to the Daily Guide on page 3. Kennedy shakes NPP in flag bearer race. Flag bearer, hopeful of the new Patriotic Party and member of Parliament for Asin Central, Kennedy Ohinejepon, yesterday filed nominations at the party's headquarters at Asylum down in Accra to contest the flag bearership of the party in November 2023, accompanied by a sea of crowd who defied the rains amid singing and dancing and clad in Kennedy Ohinejepon t-shirts and boards with the inscription "Ken for President 2024" and placards. The supporters cheered him as the next president of Ghana. Now, on the same page, minority attacks Baumia. When I listened to this story, Ernest Edu Kofi writes from Parliament House, the National Democratic Congress minority yesterday launched an all-out assault on Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Baumia for declaring that he had a vision for Ghana. The Vice President, who is seeking to lead the ruling New Patriotic Party as flag bearer in the 2024 elections, recently told his party supporters that he has his own vision for Ghana, which is to see the country leverage on technology, data, and systems for inclusive economic growth. But the minority is enraged because the man is proving to be an irresistible force, aiming to box him into a small shortbread tin with a tartan ribbon.
For me, what I'll say is that if you look at the minority's posture on him, it tells you that he's the front runner. Because they don't really attack the others as much as they attack him. So that should give you a clue, because they are the opposition party and he's the main one they're looking for. Indeed, there's a story you read about Dombo something.
Yeah, Dombo. That story is
on page. Is the Chronicle page 2 or so? Yeah. Just give me some quick highlights of that.
Okay. The story says.
And then there's one on former Attorney General Joe Gate.
The story is on page 3 of the Chronicle. It's by Max Olofori. It says that the northern faction of the New Patriotic Party NPP, Dombo Tradition, has appealed to the party faithful to support the Vice President, Dr. Alhaji Mahamudu Bawumia's quest to lead the party in 2024. Now, Dombo is one of the 3 traditions that birthed the United Party, which metamorphosed into the New Patriotic Party. Now, in a humble plea contained in a statement issued on Wednesday, June 21, 2023, the family remarked that the appeal was a national voluntary call that transcends ethnic or tribal boundaries. Now, signed by Na Tikang Diedong Dumbu Durina, the family said it had never made such a request until now, adding that the plea was not a case of entitlement or making a premature call for our turn.
Yeah.
Now,
Yesterday,
is
a
he
couple more
Dori
people.
now? Is he a chief?
I'm
Yeah,
not
the
sure.
name Dori now will sounds like a chief.
I don't know if you.
Yeah, because I know recently the Supreme Court delivered a judgment in which it said that chiefs should stay away from partisan politics.
But we don't know if he's a chief or is just his name.
Yeah, I'm just saying. So if he's a chief, now normally would be a chief. If he's a chief, there are some issues.
All right, now I wanted you to stay with that. Two other quick ones. So Kwame Japan filed his papers yesterday. Then there's a headline you read about Joe Gatti.
Yes.
And you said some farmer.
A farmer says that he's
Where did they find the farmer from?
So let me take you to the stories.
People.
These are stories on page 2 of the Chronicle.
Easy.
Jogati's story says that a farmer in a Jurassic Dumasi in the Ashanti region, Openyin Kwame Anthony J, has called on delegates of the ruling New Patriotic Party to elect former Attorney General and Minister for Justice Joe Gatti as flag bearer of the party. And according to him, Honorable Gatti deserves to lead the NPP as flag bearer and Ghana as president. Honorable Joe Gatti, who is on nationwide walking and talking tour, was commended by Openyin Kwame Anthony. This was after Honorable Joe Gatti's team, while driving along a bush track, stopped to ask a group of farmers who were on their way to their farm for direction.
And the newspaper thought that the farmer, Charlie, this matter.
Very soon they will stop by a grass cutter seller.
Is that cool? Now there are a couple of stories I want to highlight.
How about the Complaint Japan one? Just 2 paragraphs of that.
Yes, Kwame Japan. Yes.
Yeah, the story says that MPP primary. I'm on redemption mission at Japan. Now, Mr. Kwame Japan, former general secretary of the MPP, says his decision to contest the flag bearer race of the party is to create the momentum necessary to bring about change in the thinking and orientation of Ghanaians. There's a quote here that says, mine is a simple, humble redemption mission to create a critical mass of public-spirited Ghanaians, which is needed to generate the momentum required to cause a seismic shift in the thinking and orientation of what party politics.
All right. Let me give you the Jachi Kwesen story, and then you can come in with the Charles Bissio one. So the High Court in Accra has ruled to allow NDC parliamentary candidate for Asin North James Jachi Kwesen to be absent from court on Friday, June 23. This was the adjournment of the sittings to Friday, where a ruling will be given on the motion by Kwesen for the court to vary its orders to hear the matter on a daily basis. The two sides on Monday argued out their case as to whether the matter should be tried daily or ordered by the court from June 20 to 23 or not. And then the details of the case are given. But what we have told is that the matter would be decided, that specific matter will be decided on the Friday, which is tomorrow. Okay. And then we'll know whether it will be a daily trial or it will be spaced out.
Yeah, in fact, if you go to the Chronicle, they also have the angle that says Chatu flies off the
handle. For sake of time, since we've given you the city angle, let me give you Charles Bissio as well. Okay. So Charles Bissio has been arrested after reporting to the special prosecutor. Now, this is City News. The former secretary of the dissolved IMSIM, Charles Bissio, turned himself into OSP Wednesday, June 21, which is yesterday. A statement from the OSP said Bissio was arrested at 11:45 a.m. and interviewed by officials of the office. He was subsequently released on bail. The office of the special prosecutor declared Charles Bissio wanted last week following the failure of the man to respond in an interview from the OSP to appear and answer questions regarding the ongoing investigations into suspected corruption with the now defunct IMSIM.
Let me stay in court on page 3 of the Daily Guide. The Office of the Attorney General has been given one last adjournment to call his first witness in the trial of the suspended former president of the Ghana Football Association, Kwesi Nyantakyi, else the accused persons will be discharged. The court, presided over by Justice Marie-Louise Simmons, gave the ultimatum after the prosecution failed to comply with the court's orders to file the complete witness statements of the 6 witnesses it seeks to call in proving its case.
Okay, let's stay in the courts because there's a story here that says that mobile money shop owner killed by unknown gunmen.
Kachi.
The story is on page 3 of the Ghanaian Times, and it says the mobile money shop owner Zanu Mandela has been shot dead by unknown gunmen near Holy Childhood Academy in the Akachi South municipality of the Volta region. Now, Mandela, who is also called Nesu Yayira, was shot several times by the unknown assailants on Tuesday evening at about 7 p.m. while on his way home. Now, eyewitnesses told the Ghana news agency that Mandela was approaching his house when a gunman emerged from their hideout, shot him on the spot.
Hey, Charlie, this is serious.
This is a tragic story. And if you stay on that page, police officer accused of killing girlfriend at Edum remanded.
Yeah, this
again.
commercial story we've been dealing with.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
then there's some other story about some 23-year-old, 25-year-old killing their girlfriend. Or something
Yes,
like
that from the eastern region.
that's right.
Now, Ofanko, Kanishi, other parts of Accra flooded after downpour on Wednesday. Story by Kaba Atawoge, City Newsroom. Several parts of Accra were flooded on Wednesday after many hours of rains in the capital. Kanishi First Light, Ofanko Barrier, Taifa Junction, Medina Market were some of the places affected by the floods. While there was heavy vehicular traffic in affected areas, some road commuters had a tough time maneuvering through floodwaters in other places. Now, the rain started around 9 a.m. in various parts of the capital and intensified through midday through to early evening, gradually impeding traffic flow. Now, there are some priceless photos and videos you should see of river-like roads. The First Light was like a swimming pool. Medina Market had a very tough time. West Hills Mall, Accra Winneba Road always gets flooded, but this is like chocolate flood.
Yeah.
And then some people have been tweeting about it. Accra needs to get more resilient, and we need to talk about that on the program.
Yeah, quickly, staying in that space, the Ghanaian Times has an editorial that is calling on authorities to solve the flooding problem, forgive me. And then down there, we're told on the same page, government leases Tamale market land for urban development project, and this is creating.
This is the
problem.
Suhini versus this thing story.
Yeah, I mean, the story is by Julius Petiti. It says government has leased a portion of the 7-acre Tamale Abuabo timber market land in the northern region as part of government's urban redevelopment scheme. Now, Lands and Natural Resources Minister Samuel Abdullahi Jinapo, who announced this, explained that the purpose of the lease was to utilize the land to contribute to the socio-economic development and facelift of the area. The minister apparently was in Parliament answering questions. Now, if you move quickly to the Chronicle, page 5, there's a story that says Market Women Lord Equiaping South MCE for giving Iburi Market a face.
All right. I'll give you two stories of interest. The Ghana Library Authority says that they have not yet approved I Am Not Yvonne Nelson for public libraries.
Okay, that's standard.
So yeah, the Ghana Library Authority says
They
the
have to
recently
approve
known
every
book will not be stocked in public libraries until it's been officially approved. Here for Sian was interviewed about this. He was speaking on 3FM on Wednesday. Then the other one is about what you were talking about. BBC is reporting missing Titanic submersible, the health risks facing the crew. It's a claustrophobic, terrifying prospect. Being trapped in a 22-feet submersible, potentially thousands of feet underwater without oxygen running, with oxygen running out. The exact whereabouts of the Titanic submersible and the conditions of the 5 crew on board are unknown. It is thought the vessel may have less than 10 hours of oxygen remaining, creating a race against time to find the sub before it's too late. They interviewed Dr. Ken Ledez, a hyperbaric medicine expert at Memorial University St. John's, Newfoundland. He told the BBC that running out of air is not the only danger those on board face. The vessel may have lost electrical power, which is likely to have a role in controlling the amount of oxygen and carbon dioxide inside the vessel. As the oxygen level falls, the proportion of carbon dioxide being breathed out by the crew will be rising, with potentially fatal consequences. This is terrible. Yeah. And they also spoke to a former Royal Navy submarine captain, Ryan Ramsey, who says he looked at videos online of the inside of the Titan and could not see a carbon dioxide removal system known as scrubbers. This, for him, is the greatest problem.
We pray for them, actually.
Yeah, and the whole thing is just 6.7 meters long. Can take 5 people for 96 hours. And it's gone down to 4,000 meters.
Yes.
That's about 4 kilometers underwater.
That's serious matter.
Charlie, you don't want to be caught in this type of thing.
That's why you...
It's something. You know, I don't know what tests they did before they went and whether
they have done about 25 trades.
And were there any vessels on standby that if they lose contact, they go immediately?
So there's a delivery vessel that carries the submersible. So
is there an emergency submersible that can be sent to look for them when they get lost?
The French people say they are sending one in now. A robot submersible.
You know, some way we should all learn from these things.
That is why
I want to say good morning to Kamaru Abdullahi, who got hitched to his wife Fatimatu Isaka.
Thank you.
Over the weekend.
Yes.
And there's a nice photo of Samaru.
Yes.
Yeah, you just talk.
Yes. You hold a woman.
Yes.
We did back.
Kamaru, the cameraman.
Thank you.
You do all.
You know, Papa, see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, Papa! Papa! Bobo, so how be your engine now? It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Quartz and you can feel better energy.
Can't touch this.
Actually, guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that. Yes, so somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz, and he switched. Sancho Panza.
Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz?
No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer.
Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design?
It's superb.
Quartz 9000 from Total Energies there improves fuel efficiency.
Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that? Sorry. Chairman.
Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer.
You've started your small business and have all these big dreams, but then reality strikes and there are so many things to do at once. What you need is the Ejapa account from Fidelity Bank. The Ejapa account gives your business a boost. It comes with a range of payment and cash collection options, such as GHQR, mobile money collection, and mobile teller cash collection. You will also enjoy prompt FX supply, competitive interest rate on loans, and free annual insurance cover of up to 48,000 Ghana cedis for your business, plus a waiver on service fees. It's time to do good business with Fidelity Bank.
Dial *776*0# or visit www.fidelitybank.com.gh to sign up for a Fidelity Ejapa account today, because together we are more. Terms and conditions apply.
Fidelity Bank, believe with us.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
City Business News with Nana Tufo Boating, brought to you by Goyle and MTN. Nana, take it up.
Thank you, Bernard. Good morning to you out there. Welcome to the breakfast edition of City Business News, proudly brought to you by MTN, Goyle, and powered by your most comprehensive business news website, citybusinessnews.com. Coming up, Economist warns government may miss deadline for its second debt restructuring program if it includes pensioners' funds. And the government's expenditure falls by 37.2% for first quarter of 2023. Let's bring you the details of our stories now. Economist Dr. Patrick Asumi has indicated that government might miss the deadline for its second debt restructuring program if it decides to include pensioners' funds. The Economist explains that if speculations of plans by government to include the pensioners in the debt restructuring are true, there will be resistance from the group, which will delay the process. Dr. Patrick Asumi has been speaking to City Business News on the matter.
There are some rumors or some speculation that there might be a second round of internal. At least we know that there's been some attempts with the RPPs. If there's a second one, it depends on exactly what is being targeted. From the speculation that's going around in town, there's been discussions that they might invite the pension fund, the people's retirement issues. I think if they try to go ahead, there will definitely be some resistance. All of those will bring a little bit more uncertainty and might delay the timeline that the finance minister was giving.
Dr. Patrick Asumi is an economist. Now, government has recorded decreases in its expenditure line items for the first quarter of 2023. Out of the 6 expenditure line items, only the compensation of employees increased. The Bank of Ghana, in its May 2023 Monetary Policy Report, indicated the expenditure performance was partly attributed to a reduced debt service due to the debt restructuring program. The following News Desk report captures more.
According to the Bank of Ghana, budget execution for the first quarter of 2023 showed some revenue shortfalls while expenditures were broadly within target. Overall, total expenditures, including arrears clearance and discrepancy for the first quarter of 2023, summed up in excess of 32 billion Ghana cedis. This was below the target of 52 billion Ghana cedis, representing 4.1% of GDP. Compensation of employees, including wages and salaries, pensions and gratuities and other wage-related expenditure, was the only item that went up to 12 billion Ghana cedis, higher than the target of 11 billion Ghana cedis. It also constituted 47.1% of domestic revenue mobilized during the period under review. All other expenditure items, including total interest payments for the first quarter, were estimated at 6 billion Ghana cedis. This was below the envisioned target of 13 billion Ghana cedis for the review period. The lower interest payment was mainly on account of the partial freeze on debt service due to the debt restructuring program. For capital expenditure, it was 3 billion Ghana cedis lower than the program target of 8 billion Ghana cedis. Use of goods and services totaled in excess of 1 million Ghana cedis, lower than the expected targets of 2.5 million Ghana cedis. Grants to other government units all summed up to 5.7 million Ghana cedis, lower than the target of 7.2 million Ghana cedis. Other expenditure made up of ESLA transfers, COVID-19 related expenditure and other critical spending for the first quarter of 2023 was 2.1 million Ghana cedis, which was below the target of 4.6 million Ghana cedis.
That was a City Business News Desk report read by Ni Latte. A former Deputy Minister for Trade and Industry, Robert Ahomka-Lensey, has stated that for Ghana to attain its preferred level of sustainable development, industrialization is critical. According to him, industrialization contributes to economic growth by enhancing productive capacity, job creation, innovation, and an increase in the country's trade competitiveness. Speaking on the on-air series of the 2023 City Business Festival, Mr. Ahomka-Lensey highlighted other areas that make industrialization important for economic growth.
The reason why industrialization is such an important part of a development path is that industrialization provides a few very key points that are key for a country's development. One of the things industrialization does is that it improves the skill set of people. And we always forget that. Industrialization improves skill sets of the ordinary man and woman along the industrial path. The second key area which I think industrialization does is that Ghana is a developing country. The vast majority of our people are in the informal developing side. What we need today is labor-intensive, absorptive industries that can take the millions of men and women. Because if we don't take them, where are they going to go? The third area of industrialization, which I think is very important and leads to what you are trying to drive at, is that it allows you to start to build centers of excellence. And
Robert Ahomka-Lensey also called for the inclusion of private sector players as they play a significant role in bringing about the much-needed structural changes that Ghana's economy needs.
When I look at the constitution that we have in Ghana now, it only states that the president has to take a majority. That's, let's say, 51% from parliament. 49% can still come from outside parliament. And one of the things I liked about Lee Kuan Yew, he did not waste time on how much he paid you. He focused on what you're going to deliver. And so when you look at, now it's called the Economic Development Board of Singapore, the sorts of salaries people were being paid there, but compared to what they were delivering, it became an important factor. And I think we have still got a huge opportunity in Ghana to leverage the skill set of our private sector, because you can't do without the other. The two are so critical to each other's success.
That was a former Deputy Minister for Trade and Industry, Robert Ahomka-Lensey. The full conversation on the topic, producing to compete globally, airs later this morning at 9 a.m. on the Citi Breakfast Show. This year's edition of the City Business Festival is powered by Citi TV and Citi FM in partnership with APSA and is proudly sponsored by MTN Momo, MTN Business and ZPay with support from Kesel. Now, the chief economist of the Afrexim Bank, Dr. Hippolyte Fofak, is encouraging policymakers on the African continent to deepen collaborations to address the industrialization gaps that exist on the continent. According to the economist, the recurrent geopolitical limitations associated with the continent's industrialization drive have been a contributory factor for the stifled growth of Africa. Dr. Hippolyte Fofak made these comments at the launch of the 2023 Africa Trade Report at the 30th AGM of the Afrexim Bank in Accra.
This report is so important because it sees the geopolitical tensions, the rise of friendshoring as an opportunity within the context of the AFCFTA. But another important point is that when you look at the AFCFTA implementations, we are turbocharging that with the bank playing a major role, especially in the area of trade facilitations. But there are other actions that ought to be undertaken by African government to make sure that the changing geopolitical landscape, the right...
That was the chief economist of the Afrexim Bank, Dr. Hippolyte Fofak. Now, on the interbank foreign exchange market, where banks trade amongst themselves, the dollar remained unchanged and is selling at 10 cedis, 99 pesos. The British pound is selling at 14 cedis. It recorded no price change. The euro gained 1 peso and is selling at 12 cedis. However, at some forex bureaus in the capital, the dollar is selling at 11 cedis, 75 pesos, while the British pound is selling at 15 cedis. The euro is going for 12 cedis, 70 pesos. Let's now join Mark Jordan Sikanate of Data Bank for the latest updates on the bonds market.
The local secondary bond market was relatively quiet in the early sessions of this week, with only 6.2 million Ghana cedis changing hands on some segments of the market. The Data Bank Bond Index declined from the week open session to settle at 79.88 points, with a weighted yield to maturity of 12.73%. The Treasury plans to rake in 2.2 billion Ghana cedis for the 91-day bill to the 364-day bill to refinance maturing bills worth 2.1 billion Ghana cedis. The auction is slated for Friday, 23rd June.
That was Mark Jordan Sikanate of Data Bank, ending the breakfast edition of City Business News, proudly brought to you by MTN, Goyle, and powered by your most comprehensive business news website, citybusinessnews.com. I am Nana Tufo Boateng. Many thanks for listening. Do have a good business day.
This is the City Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CityCBS.
This is the City Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Unleashing the power of relevant radio. This is City. You see me sitting silent, sipping my liquor, making no link up. I'm picking no course. This generation, we know they get
11 minutes past 7. Business News was brought to us by Goyle. What do you do when you run out of fuel in your vehicle? Do you just stop up anywhere? Well, don't do that. Insist on Goyle Super XP on 95, a high-grade fuel sold at the same price as normal fuel, and the Diesel XP, low in sulfur, an eco-friendly option for your vehicle. We have over 440 stations across Ghana. Join the family that rewards you with quality for an energized driving experience. Goyle Good Energy. Kickoff is coming up shortly. Gabby Ofe is already seated. My team, I know they sit up.
Which
Arsenal has gone to buy Kai Havertz.
Okay.
You know, Chelsea have bought some guy from Leipzig.
That's Christopher Nkunku.
Charlie?
Yeah.
Liverpool, I know they see anything. I tell me who so.
Well, I mean, Liverpool have already signed McAllister for Brighton. I think. But I mean, he's a quality player. He's a World Cup winner from Brighton.
We're looking for
Doesn't he no game money?
We need a marquee signing. A player that, you know.
And which is that marquee signing for you?
There's some guy called Thuram.
Oh.
Thuram.
Okay, yeah. You want him?
Yeah, we need Thuram, man.
Well, I think club will look at the current pack he has and probably...
club doesn't have anything. Then that's it, that we don't have any proper midfielders.
Oh.
You should stop that thing. Dogging Club, this is your last one. Kickoff is brought to you by Lesheho Savings and Loans, supporting the investment goals of customers with attractive solutions. A safe haven for depositors who value security as well as competitive returns. Talk to us about our 91-day, 182-day, or 365-day products. Call 0577 707 700. Lesheho Savings and Loans. Let's improve life. And attention to all our trotro taxi, truck, and bus drivers. Buying fuel at Shell just got more rewarding. You can get your health insurance for your family, car insurance, groceries for home, and so much more. Every time you buy fuel at Shell, you earn points that can be redeemed for any of these incredible offers. Join the Shell Club today and keep filling up for more benefits, because driver, Shell day for you. All right, Gabby, take it up.
All right, good morning, Bernard. Thursday morning. Welcome along to kick off with me, Gabby Ofe, coming up this morning.
Mediama Elsie, I want to assure you that the House is with you, and I'll proceed to pledge, which you can take up from me anytime, an amount of 100,000 Ghana cedis now.
All right, Speaker of Parliament pledges an amount of 100,000 Ghana cedis to the champions of the Ghana Premier League. We'll get to hear more from Alban Bagbin. Also, AS Roma coach Jose Mourinho under a 4-match ban by UEFA for using abusive language on English referee Anthony Joshua. All days and some boxing updates coming up in a bit. All right, my name is Gabby Ofe, and we start off with this, where the Black Meteors have arrived in Rabat, Morocco, where they'll be based for their group stage matches of the U23 Afcon. The team had a training tour in Cairo and played 2 friendly matches, drawing 1-1 with Egypt U23 and winning 4-1 against Zamalek SC. Now, Ghana will face Congo in their first group match on June 25, followed by a match against tournament host Morocco on June 27. Assistant coach for the Black Meteors team, Godwin Atram, looks ahead to the group stages of the Afcon, starting with the first game against Congo on Sunday.
We have Congo as our first game, then we have Morocco and we have Guinea. I think playing against Congo is a do-and-die affair. Do-and-die affair that we must be able to take our 3 points. That should be our qualifying. Because winning the first game is always better. Then the second and the third, you focus and plan on how you're going to go about it. But the first game is the most important game that Ghana must dolly win. It's very, very important. I think the other groups are not our problem for now. We moving out from the prelims is the most important thing for the nation. It's the most focused one. So we have to do our best that we have to win against Congo and then plan towards the second and the third game.
All right, so that's the assistant coach for Ghana's Black Meteors team, Gordon Atram, speaking then. So the Afcon will kick off this Saturday, June 24. Ghana will take on Congo on Sunday, June 25. Well, to some club football stories, and Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin has pledged to give 100,000 Ghana cedis to Midyama Sporting Club, the winners of the Ghana Premier League. Now, the money is to support the Takwa Bay's club in their upcoming CAF Champions League campaign after clinching their first Premier League title. Now, during Midyama's visit to Parliament yesterday, Alban Bagbin assured the club of full support.
And so, as the patron, I'll ensure that is done. So, Mediama Elsie, I want to assure you that the House is with you, and I'll proceed to pledge, which you can take up from me anytime, an amount of 100,000 Ghana cedis now to support your activities. The Honorable Deputy Minister will receive it for and on your behalf. And please, this is the time to celebrate. This is the time to enjoy and to refresh and to motivate and incentivize yourself for the task ahead. We are with you. Congratulations, congratulations, and congratulations.
All right, so that's Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, speaking there. Well, staying with Parliament, the minority has described the recent attacks on local referees as appalling. Now, he said it's in the wake of Napari Siveru, a football coach who assaulted a female referee during the Division 1B football match in Tamale this month and is currently in police custody. Now, reacting on the floor of Parliament, the minority Chief Whip Gavin Agboza urged the Ghana Football Association to take steps in addressing such situations.
Officiating, Mr. Speaker, ever so often, appalling situation where you see officiating officials assaulted on the pitch simply because one side feels that the officials have misconducted themselves or did not give the appropriate verdict in one case or the other. Mr. Speaker, we need to look at these things. And, Mr. Speaker, maybe.
All right, so that's Minority Chief Whip Gavin Sagboja speaking there. Well, let's head to Kumasi now, where former Kumasi Asante Kotoko striker Mark Edu Amofa has launched his non-profit sports organization named AA Sport International at a ceremony in Accra, where the ex-Black Meteors attacker bid farewell to his football career in 2014 after having stints in South Africa, Thailand, Bahrain, and Israel. Well, speaking at the event under the theme Sports Equality for All Children, Life After Football and Sports with education. Amufa highlighted the importance of giving back to the society.
Well, it's very important because, like I said, I dream of this day. I've been wanting this for some time. And I was told we can't do anything until we launch it. And finally, we've done it. So, yeah, it's very, very important. Going forward, you should expect more programs from AA Sports International. Coming weeks, we will roll out some of the program. Like I said, they have short-term, we have short-term and long-term. We've done a couple of charities, and we are looking forward to do more in coming weeks. We've donated a lot of equipment and kits to schools, to teams, and we are yet to do more.
All right, so that's former Kumasi Asante Kotoko striker Mark Edu Amofa speaking to City Sports there. Now let's do some boxing updates. And President of the Ghana Boxing Authority, Ibrahim Nikwe Kote, says he's building a foundation to get Ghana back to winning multiple world titles in the near future. He said this in an exclusive interview with City Sports on the sidelines of the King of the Ring 3 fight night at the Trusted Sports Emporium at Bukom recently. The GBA boss said he plans to replicate the actions of former GBA President Nikwe Mensah, whose reign had Ghanaian boxers win world titles to get Ghana back on top of the boxing food chain.
We had one title short, so that is Isaac Dogbe, and you just have to go back to the classroom and work hard. I went to the IBF conference. I spoke about Isaac Dogbe for the ratings to be considered and other boxers. So I'm praying that for me, I said that I am building the foundation of game. What we see, the world champions that we saw the last time, it was Nikwe Mensah who built those foundations for the other presidents to enjoy. And the foundation have come down, and I have picked up to build up what Nikwe Mensah did so that we can still enjoy our world champions. And I know in 2-3 years in front of us, we are going to have the world champions again.
All right, so more world titles for Ghanaian boxers. That's the words of President of the Ghana Boxing Authority, Ibrahim Nikwe Kote, speaking there. Well, let's head to Europe. And UEFA has handed a 4-match ban to AS Roma manager Jose Mourinho for using abusive language towards referee Anthony Taylor during the Europa League final. The incident occurred when Mourinho, along with his Roma staff, repeatedly directed verbal abuse at the Premier League official throughout their defeat against Sevilla and Budapest. Following the match, video circulated on social media showing Mourinho expressing a series of offensive words towards the referee and criticizing their performance, referring to it as a disgrace. Now to some transfer stories. And Barcelona have agreed a deal to sign Ilkay Gundogan from Manchester City on a free transfer, with the midfielder set to pen a 3-year contract. The move has not been officially announced by either side, but City have adopted a pragmatic approach due to the player's age and length of contract the 32-year-old was seeking, in keeping with similar situations over recent years. Well, Barca's rivals, they have Jude Bellingham. He joined Madrid some days ago from Borussia Dortmund, signing a 6-year deal at the Santiago Bernabeu. Former Real Madrid attacker Michael Owen says Bellingham has the maturity to succeed at the club.
Well, he's an extraordinary player already. Doing things really early in his career, looks very mature. And that's half the battle. If you've got a mature head, you can cope with the pressure and but there's no place like that. There's no place like Real Madrid. I mean, he'll be getting scrutinised for training sessions, let alone what he does on the pitch. It's an immense club, steeped in history. Walking out in that white kit in that stadium is something that everybody dreams of. It's still probably the one job in the world as a footballer. You think that's you can't get any better than that. And he's capable, and he's mature, and he's brilliant, and I wish him well. I mean, I enjoyed my time at Real Madrid, and I'm sure, and there's been some really successful British players gone out there. Let's hope he's another one, because he seems like a top kid, and he's obviously a very good talent.
All right, so Michael Owen wishing Jude Bellingham well at Madrid. Wrapping up with this, where Kamaldeen Suleiman and Mohamed Salisu have a new manager at Southampton, and former Swan City boss Russell Martin on a 3-year deal. Martin has been immediately tasked with getting the club back into the Premier League via promotion from the Championship next season. So all the best to Marcel Russell Martin there. That's the latest on Kickoff for today. If you want more updates, you can head to citysportsonline.com. We'll be back later at 5 p.m. with Sports Flash. And then on City TV, that's the City Sports Roundup with Nathan Kwao. My name is Gabby Ofer. Take care of yourself and bye-bye.
If you need unique services, innovative financial solutions, we deliver on our promise because we are number one. Let's go, we improve your life. Let's go, hey mama, hey mama, hey mama. Even when you're stuck with nothing, come to Let's go. No matter your situation, come to Let's go. Let's go, we improve your life. Let's go, hey, let's go, hey, let's go, hey mama, hey mama, hey mama. Let's go, we improve your life.
Leshego Savings and Loans. Let's improve life.
Passengers, Mama be 2 minutes per ride. Neighbor Cecilia.
Driver, you can't do this in London.
Oh, English, madam. We dear Mr. 1 minute per ride.
Shell, Driver,
we're in a hurry, please. What's all this about?
Oh, madam. Help me say thank you to Shell. Shell Fuel Save lasts longer and helps us to save more money to do more things. Also, because I'm a member of the Shell Club, I get loyalty points every time I buy fuels that I use to redeem gifts I love. I can get third-party insurance for my car, free medical insurance, provisions for my home, and many more. Shell day my side. In fact, when I see another Shell station, I will hug everyone there.
Hey, driver, what do you fire Kwanzaa?
Hey, English, madam.
Enjoy numerous benefits when you buy fuel from Shell. Get loyalty points to claim third-party car insurance, family medical cover, provisions, and many more for free. Driver, Shell day your side. Go well.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
A bank that supports you, a bank that cares for you, hand in hand. We stand with you, so lift your head up, big dreams are waiting. We'll walk with you wherever you go, where all your dreams come alive. CBG will make you smile, no matter what. We will rise with you. Your business will flourish, your name will stand out. Consolidated Bank, CBG, we stand with you.
Hello, moms. Your favorite Nestle Cerelac is looking for the next superstar mom. You stand a chance to win your share of the $1,000 up for grabs. Yes, you heard right. Simply participate by sharing a 60-second video of yourself singing your own special lullaby to a predefined Cerelac tune in the Lullaby Mommy competition. Remember, your video must feature a Cerelac maize variant. Follow Baby and Me Ghana on Facebook and Instagram to be eligible to enter and win. Terms and conditions apply. This advert is FDA approved.
Some phones just get you, like the way roasted platinum gets garnets and vice versa. They are awesome together. Meet the new Galaxy A24.
Here's what's called on Wednesday
can be awesome together.
For the parties to argue on the motion for variation of the orders of the court on hearing the matter daily from June 20 to June 23. Attorney General Godfred Yeboah-Dame, however, at the start of proceedings, raised a preliminary objection to a supplementary affidavit to the motion. His objection was on grounds that the motion was not proper before the court, as lawyers of Judge Kwesen did not seek leave of the court to file the affidavit, and the facts adduced in it were not relevant to the case. Chachikata, however, insisted on the relevance of the facts, saying that it seeks to prove a pattern of how the Attorney General has been making prejudicial comments about cases before the courts, which in his view are against the ethics of the legal profession. The judge, after considering the arguments, adopted the supplementary affidavit. Following this decision, Chachikata moved the application for the variation of the court order to sit daily. He insisted that the decision of Judge Kwesen to contest in the by-election in Asen North is a national duty. Hence, the trial should be conducted in a manner that will not impede this obligation. Mr. Chikata argued that this obligation has been acknowledged by the Supreme Court and in Article 55, Clause 13 of the 1992 Constitution. The defense also raised concerns about some comments made by Attorney General Godfrey Dame, which in their view goes against the presumption that one is innocent until proven guilty. The Attorney General, in his response, however, indicated that there were some misconceptions suggesting that he set the dates for the trial. He explained that he only prayed for the case to be heard daily, which the court obliged and set the disputed dates of June 21 to June 23. According to the Attorney General, the adjournment of a criminal case is a discretion of the judge, which the parties have no say. Godfrey Dame further argued that granting the instant application will be against fair trial rules provided for in Article 19, which provides for trial within reasonable time. He also indicated that it would be discriminatory. The judge, after hearing the arguments, deferred the ruling to Friday, June 23, while allowing a prayer by the accused to be absent on the next adjourned date. Supporters of the NDC and James Jachikweson were excited about the outcome of Wednesday's proceedings, since it offers the opportunity for their candidate to campaign, praised their legal team for their efforts in court. Even though the motion is yet to be ruled upon, the legal team of the NDC say they have achieved their aim.
The matter has been adjourned to the 23rd, which means that tomorrow we are not coming to court. But on the 23rd, the court, in its own wisdom, dispensed of his presence in court, which means that effectively he is supposed to come after the elections. And so clearly, we want to be thankful to the court, the judge, and to say that we are most grateful for the ruling given to us today, because we have achieved what we wanted to achieve.
Deputy Attorney General Alfred Chianyeboa, who spoke to the media after proceedings, indicated that the state is only interested in ensuring the law is respected.
Agenda matter to the 23rd. When it comes to adjournment, it is the duty of the court to determine when it's convenient to hear that. The court also made an order dispensing with the presence of or attendance of the accused person. The judge has made an order to be above by the order of the court. On the 23rd, we'll be in court. And it set a very dangerous precedent that we can use any means to frustrate processes. But we are cool with it. We'll be back on Friday, then we'll come back and hear the matter.
Meanwhile, James Jachikweson, who is expected to travel to Asenno to continue with his campaign, is confident of victory in the upcoming by-election scheduled for June 27.
Straight from here.
You're winning the election.
I've won.
Okay.
Speaking at the 30th anniversary celebrations of the Afri-Exim Bank in Accra, President Akufo-Addo said the downgrades of the country by international rating agencies has contributed to the current economic challenges. But addressing the media on Wednesday, the minority in Parliament took a swipe at President Akufo-Addo over such a comment.
They should tell that man that rating is not a diplomatic maneuver. He should stop going around his peers and telling them stories. The rating agencies and the capital market predate his own life. And it is part of the global financial system that has come to be accepted. You have been a beneficiary of it. You remember in 2019, I was on Metro taking on one of the rating agencies for doing a paid job. They never challenged me. You know why? When we are going to the capital market, we actually pay rating agency as our consultants to do rating for the release for that particular issuance. And Ken and Akufo-Addo, you were paying these people that you are now claiming are terrible monies to tell a story about your economy. But they have their standard rating activity, which is not paid job. That is where you see the true size of the snake. So, Akufo-Addo, you are the worst president ever. Rating agency didn't ask you to come and dig the most expensive dam here. Nobody told you that. The rating agency didn't ask you to be doing Prima 7, then you come and take a flight, take a private jet and be roaming around when you can't even feed your students. Did the rating agencies tell him that? So the rating agencies have come to stay. His colleagues are laughing at him.
The group also jabbed the Vice President, Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia, over comments that he is feared as the potential flag bearer of the new Patriotic Party by the NDC.
If Bawumia is the best, if the Bawumia is the best they are using to break the 8, the man, when he said he won't even break the 8, he broke our lives. And he is now coming to break the 8. We will tell him the last time he mentioned the 8, what happened to us. There are a lot I can say about what Bawumia represents, but I know he will talk again. So we can't say everything here. But it is left to the NPP. If they decide that, yes, he is the best to face us, we are ready. You saw it when we selected our flag bearer. He's been warming up and lifting every day. Waiting for them. If they mistakenly bring a Koshoko, that's death. Do you get it? So they can go and bring Bawumia. If they bring Bawumia, he himself will do the campaign for us.
Happy birthday to Assistant Inspector Emmanuel Mwako of the Ghana Immigration Service in Tema. Lots of love from your husband. This one says, I want to wish a happy birthday to Mrs. Lucy Kudivo, who is an avid listener of your show. May God continue to shower his blessings upon her. It's coming in from the son and the entire family. This is the Sesi family.
Wonderful.
And this one says, hello, CBS. I kindly wish my wife a Rama Andre Aqua.
No. You are spoiling the thing.
It's not Rama.
Rama Ade Aqua.
Oh, Ade Aqua.
Ade Aqua.
I need to change my glasses.
Of Stanbic Bank. We are grateful to God for your life. Look forward to creating many more memories with you. Have an amazing day. And today you are allowed to chop my money.
Charlie, chop my money.
God bless you from your husband Paul David and your son Drew David.
David. Okay.
There's a nice one coming in from our friend Ni Apatu Planche.
Okay. What's his English name? Has he supplied as his English name?
I don't think he has an English name.
Yesterday you asked, so.
Yeah, Ni, if you have an English name, let me know. His wife is called Princess Nkansa Bwedu. The message is that she's a big woman.
Woman.
And she is all that he wants and more.
Thank you.
Charlie,
Charlie, he said the woman is a big woman.
Yes.
Charlie, just too large.
Well, it be impay he want.
Just
he don't want it.
alone.
Impay he want.
Charlie, unopposed.
He say impay he want.
No contestants, nothing.
You don't want anything again.
No, Charlie, you be big.
As he get in wife, he get everything.
Charlie, on challenge.
So what did you know?
After you to warm,
Yes, so me wife, what did you know? Happy birthday to our friend and sister Ivy Hayward Mills. May the years ahead bring abundant blessings. Have a wonderful one from Kojo Shiba, Esther Jane, Elle, and all of us. So I'm sure they know there's some gang there. Okay. Kojo Shiba, Esther Jane, and all of us. So those are the messages we are getting. Another one coming in. Kindly wish Nana AC Afane of OFISD of BOG a happy birthday. Coming in from Frida. Wishing her many blessings today and the years ahead. So this is Nana Isi Afani of OFISD.
Okay. Let me send this one out to Mauto Agbavito, who is the NDC Volta Regional Chairman. It's coming in from the Vice Chairman of the party in the region, Mr. Egypt Koblakudotu. And the rest of the NDC family across the country. They are celebrating you and they say continue to provide direction for the party in the Volta region as well.
A few more coming through. Happy birthday to you, Auntie Vida. May you continue to grow and be a blessing to the family. From Michael, Raphael, Alice, Mr. and Mr. Pia. Happy birthday to my son, Reinhard Bonke. Opokwa Boaji is 2 years old today. From Dad, Mike, and Mom Gentle, or Mom Getty. Wish my daughter, Jessica Howard, Nanaba Howard, a glorious birthday. I pray for wisdom and blessings upon her life. This is coming in from Mabel. To Kwekua say Asari from Abuna. Kwesi Nana Tweneboa, Nanama Ni Papako, and the learned friends. God bless you, Kweku. So it's almost like the people sending the request are getting more shout outs than the request. The person getting the request. So Kweku say, sorry. Happy birthday from Abuna Kwesi Nana Tweneboa, Nanama Ni Papako, and your learned friends. Hey, you are blessed. There are two things on my mind today. The first one is, the minority has been saying that there's going to be quarterly tariff adjustment, and it looks like it's true. And it's worrying me. So almost because my electricity goes a lot, and almost every 3 months they are raising the thing. It's a bit problematic.
Wasn't it part of the IMF thing?
Yes, but I didn't know it was every 3 months.
But they told you they were going to stagger it.
I didn't understand it.
Oh, it was clearly written in the IMF.
I didn't read it well. But that's not it. The other one is something I'm confused about. Last 2 weeks, we went on air to say that putting taxes on sanitary pads was not good because it made sanitary pads too expensive. Mm-hmm. And there were many, it was World Sanitary Pad Day or something.
Yes.
Menstrual hygiene Day. And we're saying that, look, there's so many girls who can't get access to sanitary pads because the taxes make them too expensive. Right. So we were asking the government to remove the tariffs. Now, we said that because we didn't really know the situation with local manufacturer versus imports. It turns out that there's a significant size of companies that actually do their thing locally. So the AGI caused a press statement to release yesterday. And I don't think, Nathan, if you can read the statement for me. Having heard the statement, I'm now torn. Confused. I don't know what to believe. I don't know what to do.
Let's hear them.
Okay, let me read this. And I'll read everything, about 5 paragraphs. It says, the Association of Ghana Industries, AGI, wishes to caution the government that any policy measure that seeks to remove taxes on imported sanitary towels or sanitary pads at the expense of local manufacturers of same will be very detrimental to our economy. Much as the waiver of duties or taxes on imported sanitary towels for our young women to make pads more affordable may sound good, they will only end up completely wiping out the few local sanitary pad factories left in our country. Therefore, the association is of the view that the call for the removal of duties on imported sanitary pads is misplaced. Our local manufacturers of sanitary pads and diapers have been under pressure from cheap and substandard imports which sell at closeout. The few sanitary pad manufacturers with capacity to expand are only producing at about 30% capacity on account of the influx of such imports. Some of the factories are already out of business and have sent workers home. To further eliminate taxes on such imports will certainly collapse the few factories left or compel them to fold up and become mere importers. Our young women deserve affordable sanitary pads, but granting tax waivers on imported sanitary pads is not the way to go. With the right incentives and support, these local companies can meet domestic demand, saving the country jobs and forex. Instead of removing import duties, local manufacturers of hygienic sanitary pads have since petitioned the government for exemption from VAT and import duty on their imported raw materials to make such products more affordable. Currently, medical supplies, services, essential drugs are as listed under Chapter 30 on the HS code produced or supplied by retail in Ghana, specified active ingredients for essential drugs and selected imported special drugs determined by the Minister of Health and approved by Parliament enjoy exempt regime.
It is only fair to extend the same dispensation to the raw material for sanitary pads for our young women. Our local manufacturers believe their sanitary pads will be more affordable to an estimated 70% of our young women in impoverished communities if granted such tax reliefs on raw materials. The public discourse and social commentary suggesting to the government to eliminate import duty on imported sanitary pads need circumspection and ought to be reconsidered vis-à-vis local manufacturing, job creation, and revenue generation for the government. The few local manufacturers of sanitary pads face imminent collapse, and the AGI calls on the government to intervene as soon as possible. We caution the government not to play to the gallery, but rather stay focused on its industrial transformation agenda by incentivizing local manufacturers rather than imports. While a number of countries adopt countervailing taxes to protect their local markets, it will be unfortunate for Ghana to do the reverse by eliminating taxes on such imports to make them cheaper, especially where there are factories in Ghana producing the same items. We are anxious to see more policy prescriptions that attract investments, create jobs, and can transform the structure of our economy from an import to export-oriented one. This may sound long-term, but it is of necessity and it is achievable. Signed, Seth Chuma Kwabwa, CEO of the Association of Ghana Industries.
So the main thrust is that the government should not remove taxes on imported sanitary pads, but the government should rather exempt local manufacturers from VAT and import duty on their imported raw materials so that they can manufacture these more cheaply. And then they say medical supplies, services, essential drugs procured or supplied in retail essentially do not enjoy that level of tax exemption. Let me read that portion properly. It says, instead of removal of import duties, local manufacturers of hygienic sanitary pads have since petitioned the government for exemption from VAT and import duty on their imported raw materials to make such products more affordable. Currently, medical supplies, services, essential drugs, as listed under Chapter 30 of the HS Code, procured or supplied by retail in Ghana, or supplied in retail in Ghana, specified active ingredients for essential drugs and selected imported special drugs, determined by the Minister for Health and approved by the Parliament, enjoy exempt regime. It is only fair to extend the same dispensation to the raw material for sanitary pads. So they're saying that if I'm manufacturing paracetamol in Ghana, my raw materials are tax exempt because it's an essential health service. So the raw material for manufacturing sanitary pads should also be made tax exempt. The question is, what are the raw materials for manufacturing of these sanitary pads? Now, they're also saying that their sanitary pads will be more affordable to an estimated 70% of their young women in impoverished communities if granted such tax reliefs. I was really hoping to get somebody to explain the difference in quality, if it's possible, between the local manufactured ones and the imported ones, and the difference in price as well, because it appears the imported ones are much cheaper, which the local manufacturers say will take them out of business. And it appears that the plea that we should remove taxes on the imports has a consequence that we did not anticipate. It will be cheaper for the girls, but it will collapse the local industry. So what do you do? All right, so this is where you use data and not emotion to make the decision, right? So if you ask me without doing a calculation, I'll say, what is the total market size of sanitary pads in Ghana, right? What percentage of the market size is accounted for by local players, and what percent is accounted for by manufacturers, by importers? Then what are the price points of the two main sources of sanitary pads? Where is the price of the imported? Where is the price of the local one? What's the difference in price? Okay. Then you can then go on to questions like, if you remove the tax on the imported sanitary pad, will that translate into a specific percentage reduction in price? Or if you remove the tariff on the imported raw material, what percentage of the price will the local manufacturer also reduce? Do you get me? Then you can also ask yourself, if we were to keep all the taxes on the imports and reduce the tax on the manufacturers' raw material, can the manufacturers produce enough to fill the void that the high price of the import will meet? So I think there should be a technical committee that will do data analysis. Because from an emotional side, you would say that remove all the taxes on the import so that the thing will be cheaper. But that's not a long-term solution. So the long-term solution will require a lot of market analysis, which I don't know if the Ministry of Trade is prepared to do. Because on World Sanitary Pad Day or World Menstrual Hygiene Day, there were lots of appeals to the government. Yes. And I'm sure it's gotten to the Minister of Trade. It's probably gotten to Cabinet. Because there were organizations within the UN system. All kinds of people were asking for, it was a big campaign. Yes. And AGI feels like their government is being railroaded into making an economic decision under the guise of a health policy. You get it? So AGI feels like, yes, it's a legitimate health concern, but if you want to solve it, empower your local manufacturers. Don't reduce the taxes, because the import duty you reduce will only outcompete the local manufacturers. It's a very complicated situation, right? I don't know what you guys think.
It's a hard one for me. Mm-hmm. I would want to hear, like you, I would want to hear from the menstrual hygiene groups as well, because
the advocates for cheaper.
Because we it's about data on this point. Mm-hmm. Because I've always found that case compelling. I mean, it's a no-brainer for me. Yeah. Okay, it's a no-brainer for me. But put in the limelight of what the AGI is also saying with regards to local industry and the companies that make it here, who would be basically thrown out of business for this, it becomes a question of where does the weight lie for the government. How many sanitary pad companies are in Ghana? What is their contribution to the general sanitary pad market, in terms of usage and that kind of thing. So it's not an easy conversation to have. I get where the AGI is coming from, but also need to take into account the problems we face, particularly as a country where we have significant parts of young girls and women unable to afford this very basic and very important item for their personal hygiene. So we need to have that conversation.
So you're not sure where you stand, Nathan? What are your thoughts?
No. I'm saying I'm clear in my mind. This has just...
It has confused you a bit.
Yes, I'm a bit... I do take into account the concerns of the AGI. Because if you look at, like, for the Ghanaians, we're talking about Fatex, we're talking about Yaz,
by way of
a couple
numbers,
of others. Yeah. But what is their control of the market? Like, what part of the market share
do they have?
But
and then by way of numbers,
yes.
So I use Binge to dig up some facts regarding this matter. We're told that the exact size of the sanitary pad market in Ghana is not readily available, as different sources may have different methods and criteria for measuring it. However, one report estimates that the tampons and sanitary pads market in Ghana was worth $11 million in 2019. So $11.5 million in 2019, and is expected to grow at a compound annual growth rate of 4.6% from 2020 to 2025. Now, another report suggests that the sanitary pad market in Ghana is dominated by three major players. So you have Yas Products, Cortex, and Always, which together account for about 80% of the market share. Now, other brands include Noble Lady, Softcare, Proper, Long Reach, Stay Free, Tampax, Depend, Molicare, Serenity, and Angel Moon, amongst
So the market is dominated by the Ghanaian companies?
No, these are the brands in Ghana.
Okay.
But according to, again, results we've been able to dig up using websites.
Well, I will find...
Ghana imports most of its sanitary pads from China, South Africa, and France.
I would want to hear from the advocates on this AGI statement as well.
Yeah, I'm going to talk to some of my contacts within the trade ministry, but my main my general inclination is to support AGI. You know why? For many things that we say they should support local companies, there are always arguments that, oh, the local is too expensive and the foreign one is so cheap, and therefore we should just allow the imports to come. That's how come rice, we are dominated by imported rice. That's how come our textile companies have been destroyed. That's how come almost every sector of Ghana that we can produce competitively, we have allowed liberalized trade to destroy.
Yeah.
So as a general principle, I would support AGI over this because AGI have set up a factory here. Now, if AGI sets up a factory, I'm not saying AGI, like somebody has set up a factory to manufacture towels. If I look at employment, which is the most important problem we have in Ghana, if somebody sets up a factory in Ghana to do Fatex or to do whatever you call it, Sky, the minimum number of people they will employ is 200. If somebody wants to import towels, sanitary pads from wherever they import it, if you look at the company, from the guys who do the work at the port to the warehouse, they won't even employ more than 20 people. So as a general rule, my inclination is to listen to because a manufacturer of anything in Ghana has skin in the game. He has a vote of confidence in the economy by saying that I will do it here. I will buy power here. I will buy storage here. I will buy labor here. Yeah. I'll probably use Ghanaian banks and I'm going to do it. So the multiplier effect of somebody manufacturing anything here is better than somebody importing it as a general rule. And I'm saying this because as a general rule, because I don't have the details of the numbers. Number two, the Ministry of Trade should be able to know the level of the market that the locals control.
Yeah.
And should be able to give. So, okay, if you are going to remove taxes from the imports, fatter. Isn't that what people say? Why don't you give the local manufacturer the tax exemption for the input first? Then if the 40% or whatever it produces is not enough, then you can say,
okay,
as a stopgap to fill the gap, I'm going to reduce duty for some level of the import. But you don't start the discussion by removing the duty for the import. Do you get my logic? Because you are saying that, let's assume there's COVID, and we can't import sanitary towels.
I mean, local
so from a national security perspective, from the lessons of COVID perspective, what you are supposed to do is to say, let's strengthen the local guy to manufacture, even if you can only do 60%. Let that 60% be available at a price point that we can all say is good for the girls. Then you can say the 40% that is left, based on some conditions, Parliament can come up with some special dispensation for the importers. Sky, do you follow my logic? But you don't start the discussion by saying remove duties on imported tariffs, particularly when you have significant companies producing it in Ghana and you have not given them a tax exemption for their inputs. What's the sense in removing a tax on a finished product but keeping a tax on an input? Do you get the logic? It doesn't make sense.
I think it's because
so AGI is right.
I think it's because when you look at the workflow or the flow of actions, taking away the import duty is the quickest or the easiest thing for the government to do. So it will logically lean there first. And then
that's the bad thing to do. Because the easy things are the things that destroy the country.
That is true.
Because if you do what is easy, then you have no business being a decision maker.
So I'm just rationalizing why that will happen. But I understand AGI's perspective that you need to support a lot of these local companies. And companies like Fatex, for example, they are in the shadows doing all of these things. Not a lot of people know. So yes, if they are propped up and helped, yes. Now, even if you move the argument further, there are those who are even producing, for example, the reusable parts, right? And it's to help meet a certain segments of the market, those who may not be able to buy every month. There's that. So we'll need support for entities like Fatex and these other ones who are producing in small shops in Kumasi, in Accra. I know a few of those companies who are producing just to meet a need and all of that. So,
and then the other point they make about affordability. So a lot of times people, Bernard, let's make the thing affordable first. See, if you remove the tax from the import to make it affordable, you have to prove that the importer will translate that benefit to the buyer.
Yes.
That's number one. Number two, you can say that you can kill two birds with one stone. Government can say, if I'm going to lose 1 million cedis, all right, from the taxes that I'll reduce, I can use that 1 million cedis to subsidize the local manufacturers. Do you understand what I'm saying? So the local manufacturers have given you a solution. They are saying that for every medicine you manufacture in Ghana, the input is not taxed. So if you claim that sanitary towels are a basic health need, why are you taxing the input that is being imported to manufacture it? You get my logic? So I feel like the truth is that in this country, when importers talk, we listen to them more than when manufacturers talk. And this has been true when you look at the Guta AGI argument over what's the name of that policy?
Benchmark.
The benchmark value. And I think we cannot continue subsidizing imports at the detriment of local manufacturing. And we're on Business Festival.
Yes.
This week we discussed local production. And Kalise said a lot of things. He gave us over 15 areas of products. Over 15 areas of products that we have potential to be competitive in.
Mm-hmm.
That we are not supporting local manufacturers. All right. So I think that the government must take a firm decision. And for once, say that we are going to trust. Mind you, during COVID, President met with all these pharmaceuticals. And I'll tell you something. One of the strongest local industries in Ghana is pharmaceuticals.
Yes.
That's the only sector that you can say that consistently both governments. I remember from Hanatete, Haruna Idrisu to Alan Chamanting, all through, they've given some support to manufacturing of pharmaceuticals because that they are well organized and they have a stronger lobby than even AGI. You notice that the people who run these manufacturing firms for pharmaceuticals, they are able to pull the numbers. Have you noticed that for some drugs we have local alternatives which are readily available, not that expensive? The government
and are dominant.
Yes. Mm-hmm. The government and their manufacturing concerns have also expanded to their retail. So when you drive in cantonment, you see so many pharmaceutical outlets. A lot of them are owned by Ghanaians. All right. So I think the government has no excuse. I think they should listen to the AGI.
But I hope that I would be happy if you could speak to the AGI.
We'll probably do that after taking social media trend. We can do that. Yes. We can do that. You have some questions for them?
No, we would want to know exactly what is the market share.
Okay.
It's an important place to start from.
All right.
Okay. And then, because that would determine what kind of actions the government can take.
Yeah.
And in what levels it can take it. Rather than just say, okay, I'm removing taxes or doing this. Because eventually there must be balance.
I think importers make a lot of arbitrage in Ghana. They make a lot of noise about import duty. They don't pass it on to the local. Go and ask people. You can even ask listeners who use these things, sanitary pads and tampons, whether the imported ones, the prices have come down. Those are the prices have gone up.
No, the prices have gone up.
So if the prices have gone up, we'll see.
But it's also about quality and comfort. Those are two things that you cannot downplay
and
when
they
it
do
comes to
come
that particular product.
Which is why if you support,
tell you that
if you support,
it might be more expensive for them, but they prefer it because it's more comfortable.
See, we used to have a company called Super Paper Products.
Yeah, I remember them.
We used to import a lot of tea rolls.
Yes.
Now you can say that imported tea rolls are softer than local tea rolls, but the only way local tea roll can get softer is if they have
more.
Yes, if they have more money, they can do it better. So if you don't buy the tea roll locally, you don't help them.
You get the graphic paper.
Yes. So there's no way you can have better locally manufactured. It's like rice.
Yeah.
And it's also an acquired taste. Nigerians eat local rice. They are not dead.
Yeah, but you cannot do acquired taste with tampons.
Yeah, so you support the company to manufacture it and make it better.
Yes, and the quality that is good.
Tech and Social Media Trends is brought to us by Vodafone and FBN Bank. The Vodafone Demo promo is here. Receive up to 20% of your money back in your Vodafone Cash wallet when you recharge with 5 cedis or more. You can even send credit to a friend and they will receive up to 20% instant cash. Recharge with 5 cedis or more from your preferred wallet, short code, your Vodafone Cash wallet, credit transfer, or My Vodafone app, or to other preferred payment platforms. Now, the higher you recharge, the more you get back. Vodafone, further together. And there are 2 critical accounts for children that FBN Bank is pushing. We're talking about the first account, the Kids First account, children aged up to 12 years of age, The Me First account, 13 to 17. These accounts get your kids to develop the habit of saving, to understand money in a fun way. Go to fbnbankghana.com for more information. Nathan, what's the trend for the morning?
Well, you've got several things trending. So on the sporting side of things, you have Edmond Addo trending. Yesterday, he completed a switch to Red Star Belgrade. He joins Osman Bukhari on that side of things. So Edmond Addo is trending. On the general news side, a number of things. Jachi Kwesing is trending for obvious reasons. He's still in the center, at the center of this court case, and he's also trying to contest in Asin North. And then you have Kennedy Ajapon. Yesterday, he filed his nomination papers at the NPP headquarters. So he has a lot of people talking as well. There are still remnants of the Yvonne Nelson Sarkodie thing trending. The update or another leg has the phrase "rest in peace" trending. Now, yesterday, it turned out a lady named Cynthia Kwaku, I believe, who's a legal person and a lawyer for Sarkodie. She passed on.
Oh,
you know,
in the course of all this controversy.
I met her last year. Very nice woman.
What? So, like, within this just week?
Yes.
Yeah, she passed on yesterday, I believe. So it also has people talking.
Just like that?
Yeah, so, yeah.
She organized the football tournament at the time. She had brought some scouts.
But unrelated to what we had is all the controversy.
Yeah, unrelated.
Yes.
Very nice woman.
Very unrelated. So really sad.
May she rest in peace. Condolences
to the family.
Charlie.
To some tech news, and Amazon is in the eye of the storm. Now, the United States has accused Amazon of tricking customers into signing up for automatically renewing Prime subscriptions and making it difficult to cancel. Now, the Federal Trade Commission, the country's consumer rights watchdog, made the claims in a lawsuit, and it cited allegedly manipulative website designs. Amazon rejected the charges, calling them false on the facts and the law. More than 200 million people subscribe to Prime globally, and the service, which offers shipping perks, access to streaming movies, and more, costs $139 a year, or $14.99 monthly in the US, and £95 per year in the UK. So Amazon has a few questions to answer to the FTC in the United States.
Wonderful.
One day, an old lady inherited a huge sum of money. Her family worried about how to break the good news to her. They feared that the sudden good news might give her a heart attack. And so they decided the family doctor who was experienced in delivering such news should be the one to tell her. And when he did, surprisingly, she just smiled. Relieved, he asked, "What are you going to do with all that money?" She replied, "I'm going to give you half." The doctor had a heart attack. People are often surprised when we put them first. At FBN Bank, that's what we do. We put you first. Open an account with us today and enjoy mobile banking, USSD banking, shop and pay with our prepaid Visa cards, MasterCard, and many other services designed with you in mind. FBN Bank, you first.
Hey, you ever buy credits where you get up to 20% of your money back before? Make I tell you about Vodafone's Demu promo. See, anytime you recharge Demu, you get up to 20%, whether it be short code or your Vodafone cash wallet, or you use credit transfer to your number or someone else. And now it be high tech, so you use my Vodafone app or any payment app. However you do, Vodafone go send you up to 20% cash back into your Vodafone cash account. We'll reload here, but then you enter. Top up your airtime with 5 Ghana Cedi or more in Vodafone's Demu promo. And receive 20% of your money back straight into your Vodafone cash wallet. Recharge and cash out in the Vodafone Demu promotion.
Vodafone, further together.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
There's no price like the ShopRite price. That's why we are committed to bringing you lower prices on all the essentials you need. Like 1.3 Sadia whole frozen chicken, only 49 cedis, 99 pesos worth. And 1 liter Kamesa juice assorted, just 23 cedis, 99 pesos each. Never pay more than the ShopRite price. Prices valid until 25th June, only at ShopRite.
The biggest business festival in Ghana is on. Mark your calendars this June as we bring you the Citi Business Festival 2023. The running theme for this year's festival is Make It Ghana. It's going to be a month-long conversation on how to grow, improve, and expand your business with seasoned industry experts. Join the weekly business forum every Tuesday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. live on Citi TV for discussions on various thematic areas each week, beginning with Week 1, reimagining the digital economy. Week 2, building resilient SME brands. Week 3, the changing phase of the Ghanaian retail market. And Week 4, understanding and leveraging agribusiness value chains. Also, tune in every weekday at 9:05 a.m. for the Citi Business Festival on-air series on the Citi Breakfast Show on 97.3 Citi FM to acquire the information you need to kickstart and strengthen your business. There will be a lesson for every business on the Citi Business Festival 2023 this June, only on Citi TV, 97.3 Citi FM, citibusinessnews.com, and on CNR Digital. The Citi Business Festival 2023 is powered by Citi TV and Citi FM in partnership with APSA and is proudly sponsored by MTN Momo and MTN Business with support from GESO.
Mosquitoes come through your door, kill it, will kill them for sure. Hey, kill it, will kill them for sure. Kill it, insecticide spray, kill it, mosquito coil. Anywhere them day, we've got kill it today. Intuntum nentefre, kill it. Wow and wow, kill it. Mosquitoes and insects, kill it. So they come there, yeah. Kill it. Intuntum nentefre, kill it. Wow and wow,
Have you heard? Kill It is back and available nationwide at all shopping outlets. Buy what kills mosquitoes, cockroaches, and all flying and crawling insects. Use Kill It Insecticide's strong and long-lasting formula that leaves a lingering sweet aroma. Buy Kill It Insecticide. Todiekum. This product is FDA approved.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Twelve minutes past 8, Citi Breakfast Show discussing the fine balance between import substitution strategies and also making products affordable for the users. The sanitary part discussion is on, but before we get back in there, if you're interested in studying in the UK, US, Canada, Grenada, Germany, France, or even in Ghana, then the ISAS or the ISAS Connect EduFair is a place to be on the 23rd of June. That's tomorrow at the Holiday Inn Hotel at 9 a.m. Come and interact with reps from renowned universities abroad and know all about their courses, how to apply scholarships, tuition fees, and accommodation. Call ISAS on 027-940-0001 or 027-940-0002. And Bayport believes an investment account should make you more money. That's why our fixed deposit has been the preferred choice for most Ghanaians for the past 20 years. Convenience and peace of mind are redefined as you enjoy guaranteed maximum returns on every cedi invested in us or with us. Call us on 0302-745-454. Bayport, your future now. TDC is announcing that the people who are debtors and defaulters on land management fees, license fees, etc., should make payment before 30th June using any of the channels like GCB Nationwide Bank, mobile money short code *737*46#, or come to that Shyman Sub-Metro office and pay. Otherwise, we have the right to recover possession of affected plots and premises and redeem the outstanding amounts. You may call 059-691-3236 for more information. Speaking of tissue, Belpac soft tissue is one of the best things you could get. We have the tea roll, which is gentle on the skin. We have the Belpac kitchen towel. We have table napkin, toilet roll, and pocket tissues, all available. with really high quality. Call 0551 144 400 or 0551 144 400. This is another quality product from Bell Aqua.
Now, if you are asking yourself what program you want to read in terms of your master's education, then the University of Ghana School of Law has 19 MA and LLM programs for you. Now, the aim of these programs is to provide individuals with or without a previous background in law with legal knowledge and skills to enrich their portfolio while adding value to their profession. Visit the University of Ghana's website, law.ug.edu.gh/masters, or call 0531 282 413 or 0531 330 203. UG School of Law, the best place to be. Now, stigmatization and discrimination against persons living with HIV and TB are major human rights barriers affecting the uptake and quality of health services and other support systems available. Let's all join to fight discrimination and stigmatization. Call WAPCAS. WAPCAS is the Ghana West Africa Program to Combat AIDS and STI. And WILDAF, who are Women in Law and Development Africa. Let's get in touch with them on 0800 123 555 or 0204 917 521 or 0598 235 353 to fight stigmatization. Now, if you are hungry and you need something to just hold you down whilst you sort out your main meal, the Royal King Cracker Biscuit is what you need. You need that to choke the hunger. And it's great and it tastes really nice. So Royal King Cracker, choke your hunger. Imperial General Assurance is saying that your insurance experience should be good, it should be memorable. That's why you need to speak to them on 0302 788 955 or 0577 667 436. They have insurance plans for everything: motor, engineering, accident, marine, fire bonds, and so much more. In Imperial General Assurance, solid protection.
Let's go on the line and speak to the CEO of the AGI, Sir Chuma Kwabwa, who signed the statement cautioning government on removal of taxes on imported sanitary pads. Mr. Chuma Kwabwa, thanks for joining us. Good morning.
Good morning, Bernard.
Hope you are well.
Yes, by God's grace.
Wonderful. So what percentage of the sanitary pad market do the local manufacturers control as against the importers?
Can you come again?
What is the market share of the local manufacturers of sanitary pads vis-a-vis importers?
Well, the local manufacturers, I don't think as of now they even have a 30% market share.
So it's very small.
The market has gone down for them for over the past year.
I see. But do you know how long our local manufacturers have existed? Because I'm assuming that we've been importing sanitary pads for a long time and that the local manufacturers have not been in the business for that long.
Well, some of them have been in the business for 30 years. If you take Patriotism, for example, they've been around for a very long time. So it's a question of increasing to reach the total demand that is required. But that has been the difficulty. But there are local manufacturers in Ghana who are doing things. And they've been in the system for long.
And yet their market share is around 30%.
Their market share is too low. In fact, I will have to get estimates from them. But generally speaking, they are not, contributing to 50% of the market as of now. Yes, it's much lower.
Do we know why? Is it that they are not profitable? Is it that the capacity or the skills are not there? Or basically, why don't we have a stronger market share for the local guys?
I think there are a number of factors. The one major factor is the business environment, the difficulty, cost of energy is higher, cost of borrowing is also very high. When they import the raw materials, they pay duty on it. But even more crucial to their market is the fact that a lot of the imports that come into the country, some of them are smuggled in, so they don't pay the right duty. And then, of course, some are also coming from a cheaper source, where their cost of production and business environment is much better, and therefore it makes the import cheaper. So when you have such strong competition from imported source, then the local manufacturers struggle to survive in the market. So all these are contributing to it. In fact, if you speak to them, they will tell you that the major challenge is how to police the borders so that people don't bring the poor quality goods. In fact, some of them are also very poor quality, the imported ones, and nobody's checking. So the quality standard is low with a lot of the imported ones. But because they are cheaper, we fall for it and we buy at the expense of local production.
I see. So your suggestion is that instead of removing import duties on the finished product, the government should exempt the raw material for the manufacture locally from VAT and import duty, so that the local manufacturers will have a cheaper means of producing competitively. Is that your contention?
Exactly the point. The point is this, Bernard. If you listen to those agitating for the removal of the import duty, the end of this plan, these young ladies who are women at a cheaper price so they can afford. So it's more of accessibility to the product, and they think that the way to do it is to get it reduced in terms of price. So that objective, we also agree. But we think that the way to achieve that objective is not necessarily reducing the import duty on imported finished products. Rather, we can look inward and see, can we look at what is happening the local produce to make sure that their production cost is lower, so that they can also reduce the price and still have the same objective. And if you import the raw material today, you pay duty on it, you pay back on it. When you pay duty and back, it makes the price expensive because it's a cost that you must necessarily pass on to the consumer. The moment you do that, then it means that you are not competitive. Meanwhile, those agitating for the removal of the duty, they are not talking of removal of duties on raw material. They say remove the duty on imported finished products. So when you do that, you don't even tackle the raw material. What happens? You are actually putting the local producers at a very disadvantaged position. So our position is that instead of achieving the objective through the removal of duties on imported raw material, on imported finished goods, rather pass on that benefit to local manufacturers and ensure that the local manufacturers also pass on the benefit to the consumers in the form of lower prices. It's a very simple thing, and I think that will protect local industries and keep people in jobs. Because the point is that when you import that volume, or when they are struggling, if you take papers, for example, they are not doing up to 30% of their local production capacity. So if you go by this route, then things will collapse. And when you do that, then you become 100% dependent on importation. When you have a challenge like we had recently, what happens? Then you don't even have local subsidies. And I don't think that is the route to go. So our position is that make it cheaper for local production, make the cost lower so that they can pass on the cheaper cost to the beneficiaries that they get. So you can achieve the same objective of a lower price product, improve access without necessarily something with local. On the contrary, push the local producers. And the very important who have done it, they will all become local producers. Most of the local producers, they were once imported. To create conditions that encourage local production instead of creating conditions that encourage more importation.
You made reference to the HS code, which you say already exempts certain imported special drugs from paying duty on their raw materials. Is this correct?
Yes. There are a number of products, especially drugs, medicines, and even some materials for medicines that and equipment, medical equipment that are exempt. But that is not same with the sanitary part. So we think that to look at it is also to bring the sanitary part into that category of product that enjoys.
I see. But yeah, the question though will be, since you only do 30% of the market, if the tariffs or the okay, we've lost him, we'll bring him back on the line. We're just trying to put in a final question around capacity to meet the demand, because if you are doing 30% market share, that's it's still small. So that if you get cheaper raw materials, then you should be able to say to us that you are producing at a capacity, so that immediately you get that tax relief, you can scale up to meet the demand
and price.
Exactly. So I think that's where the question.
The price is the most important issue.
That was where I was going to in my last question before we lost him. But so far he's sort of making sense.
Yes.
I would have been happy to get an importer, but usually importers will not be happy to speak to this kind of issues. And we are not necessarily saying imports are evil, but we feel like where we are as an economy, we must deliberately strengthen local manufacturers. Now, we have Seth back on the line, just to wrap up with him. Seth, thanks for joining us back. So my question to you was actually whether the local manufacturers have the capacity in the immediate to short term to scale up to meet the demand. Because if you say we should keep the tariffs on the imports, that suggests the price will be high. If government does what you're saying by removing the or exempting your raw materials from VAT and import duty, that means that you are able to produce at a lower cost. But do you have the skill and do you have the capacity to scale up to meet the local demand in the event that this happens?
Capacity is the problem. One of the major producers in the country, which is who produce the filters brand, they are only producing up to 30% capacity. What it means that the installed capacity is still 100%. They can only produce up to 30%. So immediately, what does it take to increase capacity? You just employ people, bring more materials, you run it, and then you increase the volume. So it's not that difficult at all. If you are not going to buy machines and install, that's when you say maybe the capacity is not there. You need to grow it a little bit before. But right now, the installed capacity is adequate to increase the volume. Once you increase the volume, then even if it's a gradual increment, why not? You start it. But you don't collapse the industry before you start or resuscitate them again. That is not the way to go. So there is local capacity. There are about 3 companies. One of them totally collapsed because of some of the challenges I mentioned. So coming back is not that difficult. As we speak now, there's another company that produces diapers. Some of the products we do in the country, people don't know. And this is a free zone company producing high quality diapers. Today, they are on their knees. They are virtually at the verge of collapse because of some of these challenges. So when you look at this in an integrated manner and then push to support some of these companies, they will easily increase capacity. Increasing capacity is not that difficult. If you have the market, you can easily get the facility, you can easily bring the machines. If you want to do additional lines, you can easily do it. It doesn't take that long. So capacity increment is not that difficult. But normally, we talk of capacity and we think that you must have all the capacity immediately. And therefore, if we look at your current volumes of production and it's small, so we don't have the capacity. But I don't think that's how we should look at it, because nobody increased capacity in vacuum. You increase capacity in tandem with the market opportunity. So as we grow the market, capacity will naturally grow. And as I said, those who are even importing the product, they turn out becoming producers because there's local opportunity. So if you want to grow capacity, we can give ourselves, the current one, we can easily increase it. And beyond that, we can grow it. And then these same companies will add another line, others will come in. You give ourselves a year or two, and you have total market penetration and look at total market production and even beyond. And now we are even taking continental fisheries. If we don't develop our local industries now, we are finished, because other countries will do and import into our market. It's really quota free. So there's a time to really support local industry to grow.
My final question is that anytime there is a debate between local manufacturers and importers, the importers inevitably win. And I can give you examples of many times. For example, the benchmark discussion, you guys made a lot of noise, but for some reason, the system seems to respect importers more than manufacturers, possibly because the importers are more, and possibly because the manufacturers are not that well established over the long period. How optimistic are you that this particular cry will fall on the right ears, especially when the lobby for removing these taxes has been very, very wide? We've had international organizations, other countries. It's actually a global campaign for removal of taxes on imported sanitary pads, not just a Ghana issue. So it's almost like the easiest way to give girls the access to quality, quality sanitary hygiene is to remove the tariffs. That's what everybody's saying. I'm told in Nigeria it's a big discussion. Nigeria has removed the tariffs. I think Kenya as well as removed, South Africa as well. So you are fighting against the whole global movement, right? So what are your thoughts around that? Oh, we lost him. Forgive me, listeners. Forgive me. We lost Seth. I'll probably put him back on again. But we have somebody else on the line I'm going to talk to whilst we do this. Lucia Adai-Nturi is chairperson of the Lady Pharmacists Association of Ghana. Very important to talk a bit about the HS code the manufacturers of pharmaceuticals in Ghana, whether the tax policy has helped them to build capacity, and what lessons that other manufacturers can learn from the pharmaceutical side. Lucia, thanks for joining us. Good morning.
Thank you so much. Good morning to your listeners.
I from where I sit, I feel like the pharmaceutical manufacturers are one of the more successful local manufacturing industries. If you compare them to other sectors, we seem to have some strong local pharmaceutical manufacturers. Is my observation correct, or it just looks better from the outside?
I think your observation is correct. I think that we've grown over the years. We've improved in what we do. We were doing just a few products. We've increased in the number of products to hundreds of products that we do now. We are trying to do vaccines now. We do infusions. We've exceeded the capacity. So it's a journey of 1,000 miles. We've taken a step after the other. So I'll say that we are doing well.
What has been the key to the success of pharmaceutical manufacturing in Ghana?
The key, I'll say, are two things mainly. I would say that, COVID has helped us significantly because now people understand, the sentiment. But generally, we have a lot of support from government, which is fantastic because you need policies that would help the industry grow. You need things like exemptions, VAT exemptions, so that you can be able to compete with anywhere else in the world because other people get exemptions anywhere else in the world. You need markets. Because government is the largest buyer, you need markets, you need government to pay on time so that you can also pay suppliers and people that give you raw materials and packaging materials. You need incentives, Now we don't have it, but elsewhere there are people there are industries that get free land, they get access to infrastructure and other things, and good support that helps them to be able to compete. Because today we're able to export to anywhere else in West Africa, and we are targeting Africa at large, and maybe the world too in future. So it's important that you have that. The second point is partnership. So you have governmental and non-governmental agencies that you need to partner with so that you can improve your capacity, improve your human resource, and every other critical input that you need to make success work for you.
Lucia, which segments of the medicines market are our local manufacturers strong? By that I'm saying, for example, is it like the local versions of generic products? Is it the paracetamols? I don't know your categorizations, but I'm sure if we look at the whole gamut of medicines produced globally, you can tell me which aspects our people do well and which aspects we don't do well.
Okay, so generally there are two categories. There's the innovator, those who make the product for the first time, and then there are the generics, those who copy. Locally, we are very strong when it comes to generics for obvious reasons. We need to be able to invest more in research and development so that we can make innovative products. We are looking at it. We are discussing because, of course, in Ghana, we are very rich when it comes to herbal medications. The challenge has been that we needed to have things like a bioequivalence center. We needed to have a stronger human resource and capacity when it comes to research so that when you make the drug, you can test either level 1, level 2, level 3 clinical trials and ensure that it is safe and effective in human beings. And we are working on that. So when it comes to generics, we are very strong. We've exceeded the national capacity when it comes to infusions. So the drips that you take in Ghana, we're able to take care of Ghana and some West African countries that don't have manufacturing plants. If you take medications like the painkillers, we are strong with that. The tablets, we have a lot of tableting companies. We have capsules companies. We have syrup companies, syrup making companies. We have cream making companies. We have suspension making companies. So we are growing. We are also going into the innovator space where very soon we'll be able to make anti-snake, we'll be able to make vaccines and a few other things, some of which will be very new, some of which would still be generic, will be a copy of other people. But I believe that the strides are very important. We are working towards improving and getting better.
Wonderful. Now, I'm coming to you now as the chairperson of the Lady Pharmacists Association. Obviously, with your experience in the pharmaceutical manufacturing, you understand the discussion I've been having with Seth, where they are saying that on the basis of the HS code, where some drugs have their import duty and VAT exempted. Basically, they have exemption from VAT and import duty on their raw materials to help them manufacture these drugs. They want the same extension for local manufacturers of sanitary pads. First question, is it true that some pharmaceutical manufacturers have tax exemptions for their raw materials? That's question one. Question two, is the request by AGI reasonable that they should extend this to sanitary pads?
Okay, thank you. So first of all, yes, pharmaceutical companies, the local ones that manufacture have VAT exemption for raw materials and packaging materials. Like I said, this is to help us grow so that we can be able to maintain the medicine security of the country. We can improve, we can invest in research and development and things like that. And it's really helping. So we do have, even for some finished products that we don't have the capacity for, there is the LI, the Legislative Instrument 2255, that also supports some finished products have VAT exemptions. And it is really helping. It's been able to make medicines more affordable. The price have been sustained for a couple of years, even with all the economic issues. And so it is fantastic. The second point is AGI being reasonable in this request? I would say yes. I'm saying that this yes because I'm the chairperson for LAPAG, Lady Pharmacists Association of Ghana, and we have been able to do some work when it comes to the menstrual hygiene space. So I'll give you an example. Last year, we wanted to buy 10,000 pads. We negotiated with some of these manufacturers. We're going to get 3 cedis for a pad. So for 10,000, we're going to spend about 30,000. Fast forward this year, we are doing the same thing, and then we have to pay over 100,000 for the same number of products. We didn't budget for it, so we have to cut down. Some of the regions are calling us, especially in the Upper West and things like that. We need thousands of pads, and we cannot afford it. And then when I also go for some of these outreaches, I get the feedback from the young girls. There are young girls that stay at home, they can't come to school because they don't want to sell themselves and be, shamed at. There are young girls who are sleeping around to be able to afford some of these essentials. It is not a lie. Some of them are getting pregnant. Some of them are aborting unsafely. Some of them are contracting sexually transmitted infections. Some of the guys even tell us that we are spoiling their business because some of them buy pads, keep it in the room. Some of these girls visit, and after the interaction, they give them the pads and other essentials. So it's important for us to be able to make pads affordable so that a girl child can stay in school and learn, focus. They can be motivated not to sleep around or do anything else, but stay in school and learn and become who we want them to be. We don't want them to get pregnant and, fall out of school. And of course, that comes with its own challenges. We don't want them to contract any sexually transmitted infections because that also comes as a burden to government and to all of us. And then they can transmit the infection. You don't know who your child will marry in future. And you don't want them to go and marry an HIV positive person if, the right things are not done. I'm not saying it's the wrong thing, but I mean, of course, if we can prevent it, why not?
What I was going to ask you was the 10K pads you got for 3 CDs, which is now 10 CDs. Were you procuring it from a local manufacturer or an importer?
So the honest truth is that we usually look at which one is more affordable. We would naturally go to the local manufacturers first. Interestingly, this year we couldn't buy from the local manufacturers because they were more expensive. That's the honest truth. And so we got an importer who is giving us an importer discount because they know we are going to do charity with it. And so they gave us a discount and we got it lesser than the 10 CDs. If you do your research, you find out that it's between 10 to 20 CDs if you ask the local manufacturers. And we wanted it for less than that because we wanted to buy more parts to be able to give to more ladies. We even wanted to do more than 1 month, sometimes 2 or 3 months. But because of financial constraints, sometimes we have to just buy for 1 month. And some of the girls keep it for when it's very important, like when they are going to church or when they're writing DC and things like that, then they use the pads.
All right. I just wanted to know also the differentials in price. And if you don't have the information, don't force. But just to give a sense. So a local one versus an imported one, how much different is the price generally?
Then it will be difficult to speak to it because it depends on the brand.
Okay.
Because you could have brands coming in a bit cheaper than the locally manufactured. Of course, the ones that are locally manufactured here, and you can call for the prices. We did some analysis, and maybe the price have changed, so I don't want to speak to it. But we usually would look at which one is more affordable. So we don't look at the brand. We just look at.
But generally, you are saying the imported are cheaper.
This year, yes, we had to buy from an importer because it was cheaper, and I believe it's also because the importer gave us a discount because they knew that we're going to use it for a donation.
But we can also say that between last year and this year, generally, both imported and local prices have gone up.
Yes, I think I saw some data from the statistical service that said parts had gone up by more than 70%. So yes,
wow.
you can.
But in terms of quality, are the local parts good quality?
Yes, the local parts are good quality. I've also heard some, I'll say, research people saying that we could use local things like banana, parts of the banana leaf or tree or things like that to make reusable parts or even disposable parts that we can use and it will be very sustainable for us. So I think that if they get the incentives and they are doing good economies of scale, local parts can become more affordable. And because generally ladies have to menstruate, whether you like it or not, from these days as early as 9 years to maybe 40 or 50 years, it is an industry that is very sustainable. And so with the right policies, partnerships, support and everything, it can do well and we can make sure that prices are very affordable, next to nothing, so that every girl can menstruate with dignity.
Thank you for your insights, Lucia Adaintri is the chairperson of the Lady Farmers Association of Ghana. We also spoke to her based on her knowledge as part of the Pharmaceutical Manufacturers Association. I interviewed her before. I'm back with Seth to just ask my final question. Seth, I was asking about, before I lost you, look, I've followed your work for a long time. The AGI has been struggling when it comes to policy decisions to favor local manufacturers, whether it is in cables, whether it is into cocoa drinks, whether it is into pads or textbooks. There's always an importer, or even rice. There's always an importer who has more money, who has a louder voice than the manufacturer. I mean, and I use the more recent benchmark thing as an example. What are your reflections on this latest situation? Are you optimistic that the government will listen to you at all? Or you are just putting it out for the record because you know that at the end of the day, the importers will shout louder and they have a deeper pocket and therefore they would win the fight?
Oh, Bernard, I don't think it is always the case that the importers have their way. I think sometimes when it comes to issues of this nature, we all have to reason together and see what is the best for the country. And there have been instances where we've made, very good stuff. You talked about the benchmark value. Yes, it was introduced. It was introduced without our notice. We fought for about 2 years. Eventually, it was reversed. So we wouldn't say the importers won through us. We eventually got what we needed. Even the sanitary pass, the issue didn't come today. If you recall, in 2020 elections, NPP put it in their manifesto that when they come to power, they will remove duties on sanitary pass. So it didn't start today. Immediately, AGI drew the attention that position was not the best for the country and not the best for industry. So subsequent inputs we made into the budget. Every year we submit inputs into the national budget. Because of this, for the past 2 years to 3 years, at least for the past 2 budgets that we had, and including the midterm review, they didn't introduce it because of the advocacy we did on it. So somehow we managed to prevent it. And now suddenly there's an agitation because of the recent statistics by gas service that the prices of sanitary pass is driving inflation. So then the agitation comes up again. So we are confident that what we are saying makes a lot of sense and it's in the long-term interest of the country. And indeed, if we speak to those agitating, and I'm sure if they hear our side of the story, they would appreciate that we need to rather work together instead of being at loggerheads or being to be competitive in this. Because I believe the MPs that are advocating for this, they also want jobs for their people. Now, if you succeed in getting the import duties removed and make the imports much cheaper and collapse local industries, where will you get a job? So I think that you can actually win on both situations, where you can get it cheaper through arrangement with local producers and through some of the waivers that we are talking about, and then still get your jobs maintained and even increased. So we are talking of increase in local capacity. If today the companies have the opportunity and then increase their capacity, they are employing more people. So I think we have a very strong case, and it isn't all the case that sometimes, of course, the importers have big numbers and all that. But when you listen to reason and what is in the interest of government and the country, I think it's really relatively easier to understand. And I'm very confident that this is something that everybody should rally behind what we are saying. And I believe even those who are agitating, they probably may not have thought of it the way we are thinking of. So when you have bet their minds to it, they will appreciate that this is a good point we are making, and therefore we should work together to achieve the same result. So it's not importance against local producers. It is what is in the best interest of the country. And I think that the media and everybody who understands these issues should support this cause. And I'm very confident that we will succeed in this.
Thank you, Seth, for talking to us. Setu Makwaba is the CEO of the AGI, speaking to us on the matter of import duties on sanitary parts, 844. Interestingly, at 9:05, my guest for the City Business Festival on Air series is the former Deputy Minister of Trade, Robert Awonkalinsey. Guess what we're discussing? Producing locally to compete globally. So that ties in nicely. So that's going to really sort of help put everything in context. The angles of the interview include things around product areas that Ghana can compete in and how we can use our tax policies to support our local manufacturers. So it's nice segue in there. Now, here are some of your comments that I'm going to read quickly before I get into the announcements. Bernard, this is a long one. Wow, this is long. Bernard, I used to think that the taxes should be removed, but after listening to this, I side with AGI. The locally produced ones are of good quality. Their import taxes on raw materials should rather be removed. It will definitely reduce the price of the local parts. We have constantly supported other economies by consuming their products here and there. We aren't producing enough. If there are markets, I'm sure expansion by these local companies will come easily. I use tampons, which are imported. The price has shot up, yet I have 8 girls I'm supporting. I get locally produced ones for them. Soft care and Yas mainly. They tell me these parts are good enough. There are some Chinese ones on the market with labels with no words in English. How did this get in and who is to check? If we remove taxes, we will have more of such, which will cripple our industries the more. If I happen to get locally manufactured tampons, I'll definitely switch to them. Tampons and parts are mainly cotton. Anyway, if the locally produced parts are good enough, I'm sure the tampons will be good too, and I'll switch as soon as I get them. If we didn't have any local manufacturers, then the call for the removal of import duty would have been super ideal. And on diapers, my son has been using soft care diapers since. A number of people have told me to switch to imported ones because the local ones will produce rashes. Bernard, my son hadn't had any rashes because of soft care. Soft care diapers produced in Ghana are good. They think me, dear, I should buy foreign stuff because from my point of view, they think it's elitist. But I am more for comfort and usability, and my soft care has been good. Imagine if all citizens thought like this, our texter. What a happy country we would have. So they are telling you to buy imported diapers because of status. Bernard, you are spot on. Our policies defy the import substitution logic. Hence, our inability to manufacture anything locally. We don't want to bite the bullet. This is from an economist. A listener has sent me a Ghanaian-made brand. It's called Eco Period, reusable sanitary pad, 4 maxi pads, 1 dryer, 1 wet bag, 12 plus in a box, made in Ghana proudly. Thank you, Anne, for sending me this.
I think Eco Period, I think they are in Kumasi, I think.
Wonderful. Yeah. Read a few more, Nathan.
All right, this one says, from past experiences with the Ghanaian, when the benchmark value was introduced, I side with the AGI because the prices of sanitary pads won't come down and therefore not accessible to our young ladies because the Ghanaian I have come to know won't reduce their prices to reflect same. Nana K from Teshin. Ni from Sakumona says, it would have been great if the AGI had mentioned the companies and the brands on the market. Okay. Togby Dobu is asking, can they mention any local manufacturers? Dennis says, all the brands mentioned by Richard are imported brands. I don't know of any local company that manufactures sanitary pads. They only manufacture
I would just mention Yaz.
Mention Yaz.
And Fatex is also a local one. They are also. All right. A few more comments.
Yep. This one says, I'm never in support of the removal of the tax on imported goods. They just simply don't make goods affordable. Those in the business will make excuses such as fuel prices, warehouses, etc. Always cast your mind back to the policy to remove taxes on imported spare parts. This policy will only benefit the Ghanaian importer. Nothing really changed. I'd rather suggest that the government provides the necessary tax incentives and subsidies to make the local sanitary products cheaper, competitive, and of high quality. Eric sent that.
All right.
Dominic from Bolga says, I think the government should support the Ghanaian companies to produce enough sanitary pads.
Wonderful.
This one says, in your discussion, I want you to know that the most heavy importers into Ghana are secretly on the funding list of political parties.
But it's true.
He says, so the issue is not only about economic benefit, but also political profit, because the invisible political hand is in the mix. Otherwise, reducing or eliminating the taxes on imports for local manufacturers is the surest and sustainable long-term way to go. All right. This one says, check those who are behind the importation of these items, and you understand why the political class's inclination is towards taking the tax off import duties. Tim from Hachu.
All right.
Ghanaian governments always waive taxes for foreign companies, but keep huge taxes on local companies. Additionally, utilities keep going up at insane rates. Tax waivers are a loss of revenue to the state. So why don't we rather use that revenue to support local companies to grow? The earlier we stopped using quality as justification for wicked actions, the better. BB from North Key sent that.
Let's get into some quick announcements. Great news for SME business owners. With SME Plus, you get to manage all your operational costs in communication, a service that allows you to choose from affordable packages and enjoy talk time, SMS data, and business content all bundled into one subscription. The other exciting news is that you get free on-net calls every Monday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Simply dial star 5060 hash to sign up today. You may WhatsApp or call 0244-308-111 for more information and stay connected everywhere you go. If you want a British degree from a world-class university at a fraction of the cost, then join Lancaster University Ghana right here in Accra with a diverse student community, vibrant campus life, and 50% scholarship to support your study. Lancaster University Ghana provides you with a world-class education that creates endless opportunities globally. Don't miss this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Apply to join Lancaster. Admissions are currently open for October 2023 intake. Call 0302-218-989 or send email to admissions@lancaster.edu.gh. Apply now for our foundation and undergraduate programs. Lancaster University, the only British university campus in West Africa. And when was the last time you had 10% interest rate, collateral-free loan, and 1 million seed in the same sentence? Never, right? Well, if you're a female entrepreneur, young business owner, or into agribusiness or fintech, we've got great news for you. In collaboration with the MasterCard Foundation, ABSA is offering SME loans at only 10% per annum to help you move your business to the next level. Get a collateral-free loan of up to 1 million cedis from ABSA now to grow your business. Visit the ABSA SME Project Office at Region Accra, the nearest branch office, or visit our website, absa.com, to find out more. And the Africa Family Business Summit is happening on the... it's happening in Ghana on the 29th and the 30th of June. It's on the theme, Family Business Governance, a Key Strategy for Continuity. Convener is Dr. Dennis Oting, CEO of Ravens Consult. Speakers include Audrey Joe Ezigbo of Falcon Corporation, Professor Martin Raw, who is a global expert on family business, Professor Moses Akwa from North Carolina University. We also have Professor Matthew Chamenyi of SIPS, Dr. Ali Kemtamaklo, Nyahuk Healthcare, and Chichi Mutendi, co-founder of the African Family Firms. This event is happening at Kempinski Gold Coast Hotel, 29th and 30th of June, 8 a.m., 3 p.m. on the first day, 8 a.m. on the second day. Now, to register, call 0202-712-647. That's 0202-712-647. Or visit our website, ravensconsulting.com. Yeah, that's the event.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
I am Florence Japon, owner of Flora Ama Enterprise. We deal in industrial chemicals for making soaps, shower gel, hair conditions, and skin products. I bank with AFSA. My relationship manager introduced me to the AFSA Young African Works program, and I attended the training program. During the program, I got a new idea which helped me develop a new product called Organics. I also secured a loan from them to introduce the new product and grow my business. My fellow entrepreneurs, I encourage you to open an AFSA account Enjoy the ABSA Young African Works program. It will take your business to the next level.
Here you go, dear.
Mom, you didn't add milk.
No need to. Taste and see why.
Wow, but how?
Is it milky?
Very.
Is it creamy?
Yes.
That's Milo all-in-one for you. It's so milky, eh? I don't need to add more milk.
I love it, Mommy.
Give your kids all-in-one. It's truly milky and rich in calcium. Milo, energy to go further. This advert is FDA approved.
The other day, I visited Kweku at his spunky new office to congratulate him on opening his business. And man, was I impressed. The business is just moving quick. The sales, customers, everything is just working seamlessly. The secret? He said,
It's MTN Business Broadband. In this fast-paced environment, we need fast and reliable internet to support all business types. No laggy online meetings, great download and upload speeds, impeccable business management systems, all inclusive. I mean, you can have it all.
Sharp! I signed on immediately.
To enable your business stay ahead and stay connected, make sure you're signed on to the best internet made just for businesses. MTN Business Broadband. Sign up today on broadband.mtn.com.gh and manage your account on my MTN app. Call 0244-308-111 for more information. We are good together everywhere you go.
The decision-making power of owners of a family business is profound. Therefore, the need for family business governance as a key strategy for continuity. Ravens Consulting GH presents Africa Family Business Summit 2023 with the theme Family Business Governance, a key strategy for continuity. The date is on 29th and 30th June 2023. Speakers for this year's summit includes Mrs. Audrey Jo Ezibo, Professor Martin Rowe, and many other speakers. Then your convener, Dr. Dennis Oteng. Venue, Kimpisi Gold Coast City Hotel, Accra, Ghana. Time, 3 p.m. for day 1 and 8 a.m. for day 2. To register, call 0202-712-647 or visit our website www.ravens-consulting.com/AFBS/ It's Africa Family Business Summit 2023. Partners, SEBS Africa, Rwanda, IOD Ghana. Other events, sponsors, La Bianca, GDC, Henley and Partners, Legacy Institute of Family Business, KED Wealth. This event is powered by Ravens Consulting GH.
Jimmy D, there's no need to stand in line to get your money. Don't waste your time waiting for the bank to be open. With ZPay Mobile Money, you can redeem your MoneyGram Cash Pickup token directly into your ZPay Mobile Money wallet. And now, every first-time user gets 10 Ghana cedis plus airtime as a welcome bonus. Access your money whenever, wherever. Just dial *270# and select option 7 for MoneyGram. Jimmy D, boundless possibilities. Terms and conditions apply.
Daddy's back! And the Yabori.
Hey, no one here!
Chewing time! Yabori.
Bibi so nature! What's about Bibi?
Ready!
There is a new biscuit in town. From the pure Ayaba biscuit.
Bibi biscuit!
Okay, now it's number from an
It's tasty and crunchy.
Bibi biscuit. Oh yeah, corner your dot red. Nazaria, it's about that. It's girl. Fuck a snack no. No for 7 we party nas. No what about the girl? Brother, what's you buy a board or trot ronuma? Bibi biscuit to the beer. Fuck for so one. You want different sizes. No bullshit the form there. And 4/4. And away you be biscuit. 0266 830003 050 51927 and Kratui FDA Apenado Bibi biscuit. It's girl.
Charlie, that be the sound you hear when things make hot. I'm sure this is not battery, just cash flow. Laja no day. It is safe to say we are all facing challenging times. We are all wondering how we are going to lighten our financial burdens. Nowhere cool. But don't worry, with a little help from your trusted bank, Societe Generale Ghana, be fine. Societe Generale Ghana is making all its customers happy with the Yatiso Loans promo. In fact, SG Ghana customers and even non-customers who are on the controller and accountant general payroll can and enjoy access to our amazing discounted loans. Don't waste time. Get your loan today. Step into a branch or call 0302-214-314 to get the ball rolling. Terms and conditions apply. Remember, promotion ends on 7th August 2023. Societe Generale Ghana. The future is you.
You worry, just be happy.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Them sit on my mic, tolerating me from now to 7:45. Ghana food is in the brain, but it's the baby life. Hadn't seen a sample the other down, I wouldn't size. Because my dream when I made them here, and young color girl will be the me in India. Who sent me question my winning penny. Rapping and yes, can't make the bomb of Bosia. Yes, they were dreaming what you want and no one body cocoa. They me if they what to me the chick or the motor. They made the bag you who come in from the Zozo. They got to get to down the corner boko. Obede, from the Ghana Christopher Wallace. Who the side of the Tibo Sensha Wally. Some former piano chef and a body chemmy, Bibi Namakana Makani Yamama to Sebi. What else? Baby, I'm in you, my baby, and just some shut down the Metia when I saw. Baby, I'm in you, and I dear me to man, I'm more good in the Guaso. Yeah, we are, I wouldn't even pass.
A minute past 9. Citi Breakfast Show. We will be taking you next to the City Business Festival on a series shortly. This is our third week. We're looking at retail and consumer markets. My guest this morning is talking about producing to compete globally. Robert Amkalinse. Don't forget the Business Festival is brought to you by Citi FM, Citi TV, in partnership with Absa Bank, with support from MTN Mobile Money and MTN Business and ZPay as well as Gersel.
A few more messages or a few more announcements. Shell Helix is saying that you need to give your car lots of it if you want your car to perform at the highest level. Shell Helix is lubricants and it will give you the ultimate power, performance, and protection. Visit your local Shell station today and experience the difference for yourself.
Okay.
Now, you want to go back to school? Well, I'm recommending Heritage Christian College for you. They have great programs, BBA programs, BSc Nursing, Info Technology, Info Security, and BA Theology. They also have a 12-month specialized master's degree program in MSc Accounting and Taxation, Accounting and Finance, and HR Management. Talk to them on 0202-298-399 or 0547-777-731 or visit hcuc.edu.gh. Now, you need to join the data analytics revolution. It's all over. The people like data. If you're wondering how to learn all of that, speak to Finex Skills Hub. They've got practical hands-on training for corporates and individuals in Excel for work, data analytics, and financial modeling. Get in touch with them on 0244-782-356 or visit their website, finexskillshub.com. Finex Skills Hub, learn, connect, grow.
If you want to know how I do my editorials, go for the Finex.
Yeah, that's it. Go for the Finex.
That's the whole story.
They'll teach you all kinds of great things. Anyway, in line with the government of Ghana's digitalization agenda, First Atlantic Bank's collection platforms provide corporate institutions, SMEs, and individuals easy and convenient payment services for the following: GRA payments, government agencies, postpaid and prepaid ECG payments, and SNIT Tier 1 pension contributions. Just walk to any branch of First Atlantic Bank and get yourself sorted. First Atlantic Bank, refreshingly different. Talk about things that are refreshing. Standard Water, they've been giving us 25 years of great water. They've been doing this for 25 years. They have all kinds of water. You want sachet water, they have it. Bottled water, dispenser mounted jar water, and even customized water for all your special occasions. Call Standard Water on 0202 055 703 or 0547 334 385. And this ad is FDA approved.
So how do we produce to compete globally? This is such a powerful segue, because we've been talking about local production of sanitary pads, removing of import duties on raw materials, exempting them from VAT, and all of those issues. Robert Amkalinsi is my guest on the on-air series for Citi Business Festival 2023. This week, we're focusing on consumer retail production. Let's get into that interview right after this.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Welcome to another edition of our on-air series for the Citi Business Festival. We are in our third week, and this week we're looking at retail and consumer markets. It's really about producing to compete globally. My guest is a man I admire so much. Worked in various fields, done lots of work in the private sector. The peak of that was with Coca-Cola on the continental level. Came back to Ghana, worked at the GIPC as the chief executive under the Kufuor administration, worked on Kufuor's private sector advisory council, and then also became a deputy minister for trade in the first Akufo-Addo period. Robert Amkalinsi is my guest, and I just want his ideas around producing to compete globally. This week we've been talking about understanding retail markets, the retail supply value chain, and all of those things. But at the end of the day, Ghana has to compete, and Robert's one of the people who understands the chain from the beginning to end. Robert, great to have you.
Thank you. Real pleasure. Good to be here again.
I'm just reflecting on your public sector experience and private sector. So you've done GIPC, you've done trade, you've done advisory council. Prior to that, you worked in different companies across the continent. So when we talk about after and private sector, it should be something like your lifeblood. It's like the kind of thing you eat every day.
Look, there is no doubt about it. When I look at after, what it stands for, trade, cross-border trade, competitiveness, value chain development, these are things that have been part and parcel of my life for the past 40 years.
Very interesting. A lot of people say to me, Ghana has done a lot of work in agriculture, and now we should move to services without necessarily industrializing. I know that there's a lot of nuance to this question. What are your thoughts? Can we become a first world country without going through the industrialization phase?
My viewpoint very strongly is no. And I'm not saying this because this is Robert's belief on it. No country has managed to attain the level of sustainable development without industrializing. It is not to say the services sector is not important, but the reason why industrialization is such an important part of a development path is that industrialization provides a few very key points that are key for a country's development. One of the things industrialization does is that it improves the skill set of people. And we always forget that. Industrialization improves skill sets of the ordinary man and woman along the industrial path. So you may start off, let's say, by just putting two pieces of, let's say, a vehicle, or even two pieces together in a production line. But over time, your skill set goes up where you can then do 3, then 4. Then you can even control computers to do it, and robots. So industrialization, one of the key aspects what industrialization does is that it provides greater skill sets to people. The second key area, which I think industrialization does and people are not grappling with, is that, Bernard, Ghana is a developing country. The vast majority of our people are in the informal developing side. What we need today is labor-intensive, absorptive industries that can take the millions of men and women. Because if we don't take them, where are they going to go? I'm not talking about 10, 15 years from now where we've trained people to be able to work in a different environment. But today, we need labor-intensive industries that can absorb literally the millions of young men and women today looking for a job. They can't wait till 3-year plan. They need it now.
So industrialization or manufacturing has a bigger platform for employment than services.
Huge absorptive capacity.
Okay.
But it's also absorptive capacity, let me say, at the right skill level. So if I'm talking about the services sector, yes, the services sector, like tourism, has different skill sector. But if you're talking about banking and finance, and some of these, you require a different set of skill levels to be able to absorb, let's say, 7 million, 8 million people in a 2 or 3 year period. And it takes time to build those skills. But labor-intensive industries, manufacturing, are able to absorb those people quicker with less training. I'm not saying that it's not important than you would do if you look at some of the other areas. And that is an important aspect also of industrialization. The third area of industrialization, which I think is very important and leads to what you are trying to drive at, is that it allows you to start to build centers of excellence, an ability to build skill sets that allow you to start to think about becoming a leading player in certain areas. So you want to export, but I don't know how to make it. Let me, if I'm doing 3, 10, 15, then I know, okay, we're actually really good at the garments and textiles. We have built some skill sets there. Now let's take that skill set and develop it further to export. So that is some of the things that industrialization, and by the way, that is the path South Korea went through, Singapore went through, even China went through that. We keep forgetting that the early days of China, anything that was manufactured was a joke. People used to throw it away. We laughed at it, but they learned. Now the world's factory is in China. Now China is moving to next level of manufacturing. They're moving into the higher base. Now they're looking at IT, etc. The same thing happened in India to a very large extent. But you need to start to build, because your plan is not for the 10% of the population that are skilled, highly trained, the university graduate. We must take along the rest of the country.
So I get your point on manufacturing, absorptive capacity, the pace at which it can be done, centers of excellence, and all of these things. So does that then mean that if a nation wants to industrialize based on manufacturing, there is like a logical progression of industries that they can build, so that you don't start with microchips, that you're probably going to start with adding value to food? So if you can work that for me. Okay. Talk to me about how do you progress on the ladder of manufacturing to become competitive?
So the reality is this. We must look at who Ghana is today and what we can and cannot do, and be very honest with ourselves. And the answer to your question is yes, you must progressively become more of an expert and progressively build greater skill set in the manufacturing process. So it means that day one, yes, you can try and build a microchip factory, but you only employ maybe 5,000 people. But bring me a more labor-intensive industry, like one that does processing of tomatoes, then I'll employ 400,000 people. And I need 400,000 people today. And the point of the matter is that as you, let's say we start, let's say with the, let's look at something very simple, cotton. The process of cotton into yarns, with the picking, what you go through in terms of the processes, what you go through into presentation, preparation. I'm not doing clothes yet. I'm still at that early stage. the skill set, that is why it's called labor intensive. The skill sets require hands, and I'm using those to describe labor. They require hands. They don't require necessarily machines. Now, what do we have now? We have lots and lots of hands that need a job. And those hands are not skilled yet to manage those machines in a manner, in efficiency, which you can 20 years down the road. So we must invite those as part of the manufacturing process. You must understand that it's a journey. It's like saying you start a new job. Very practical example. And I know it may sound little, but what you can do today, Bernard, as a role you play today, compared to what you could do 10 years ago.
Pulls apart.
The skill set you've built just by working the process is giving you now options that you never even had.
Yeah.
But if you just said to me, okay, go and do that. If somebody told you 10 years ago, Bernard, do what you're doing today, you would have looked at them and said, look, how am I don't have this, not that you haven't got the potential, it's there, but you haven't had time to build the skill set. Yeah. That is why when you enter organization, you don't enter as managing director. You enter when you look at some of them family, they send their kids to the mailroom because they want them to understand every step of the stage. So it is very important for us to understand that right now, and by the way, as I'm saying, this is not unique to Ghana. If you read Lee Kuan Yew's book, he will tell you they had a specific strategy of going out, and this is what I think we should be doing in Ghana today. Going out to look for labor-intensive industries that fit the requirement and capability of their people. Right now, you have a lot of the situation where in Asia, Southeast Asia, a number of these entities, they can't even get the hands, and I'm using the same. They can't get them. They haven't got enough people, young people. One of the factors that is going for Africa and Ghana so well is that we have a large group of young people. We have the hands.
So cotton is one, where you move into fabrics.
As an example.
As an example.
Yes.
So it suggests to me that agric and agribusiness could be the place.
Agric and agribusiness is a very important, but it's not the only one.
All right.
And I think that is what I want to stress.
Okay.
That if you look at a country like Bangladesh that went very big in the garments industry, okay, we have that potential. If you look at Ghana, used to have so it's agric and agribusiness. But agric and agribusiness goes further, and we'll come onto that and we'll look at some of the other options. But I just want to take the point is that labor-intensive... Look, I'll give you an example. Years ago, when cars were being assembled, it was a labor-intensive process. The Japanese are the ones that brought the change.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. At that time, if we had it, fine. Right now, a vehicle assembly process is highly automated by definition.
True.
It's just a fact. You can't run away from it. It's the reality. It doesn't mean that's not a market we want to play in because we may have aluminium for other reasons. So we need to find some of those labor-intensive industries which now need a new home. And we have the people for. So we build the technical and vocational skills of our people. Something as simple, Bernard, of clocking in. You know, most people in Ghana don't clock in. 80% of people are employed in the informal sector in this country. It looks very simple to clock in. This discipline of coming at 8 o'clock and at 5 o'clock, everybody moves out. This is a discipline you pick up. The discipline of repetitive processes to build the skill set and the efficiencies and the precision are things you learn. You will not learn that by chance. If I'm on the streets, or if I'm working in an informal setting where a lot of things are ad hoc. Not to say that you shouldn't work, because you need to feed yourself, but they're ad hoc. It's one of the reasons why I was so keen on the survey that was recently done. Do you remember when I was so keen on reading that survey? Because a couple of things came out of that survey.
This is the statistical service
on labor.
Ghana labor survey.
Did you look, Bernard, the majority of people employed in Ghana today are in sectors that are the most risky of being sacked. Those are the things, and so you build a society, you build development around certainty and predictability. If I have a job that I know every month I'm going to get 1,000 Ghana cedis, then I start planning. I plan for my clothes, my kids, my holiday, my ex, and things flow through. So these are some of the things that we need to understand, that the process of industrialization, you can't hop it. You can help yourself quicker along the... So for instance, you can learn, but you must learn. You cannot replace knowledge with an external factor. Because at the end of the day, we must take the majority of Ghanaians along with us, not just the 10 or 20% that need to get a job.
We're talking to Robert Lindsay, and our topic this morning is on producing to compete globally. And this is our 4th day in our 3rd week of the Citi Business Festival on a series on radio. And we've been discussing retail markets, we've been discussing value chain and all those interesting things. Today we are trying to understand how to produce to compete globally. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll delve into supply chain issues. So again, the manufacturing process these days has a lot of different things where you have one product having like 15 parts from 15 markets. How can a country like Ghana position itself to be part of that, where you specialize in some components? Because even for something as basic as a chocolate bar, you'll be surprised the number of places that the producers source parts to bring it together into one bar. Yeah. And a lot of times people just focus on just what we are producing without looking at which part of the final product we can also play in. We'll deal with that as well. And then we'll also talk about the after, because now people are talking about a borderless continent, borders have been removed. What can we use to penetrate other markets within the sub-region, within the continent? And then, of course, what skills do we need to give our people to make them competitive?
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation. The Citi Breakfast Show. Rise above the noise.
The biggest business festival in Ghana is on. Mark your calendars this June as we bring you the Citi Business Festival 2023. The running theme for this year's festival is Make It Ghana. It's going to be a month-long conversation on how to grow, improve, and expand your business with seasoned industry experts. Join the weekly business forum every Tuesday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. live on Citi TV for discussions on various thematic areas each week, beginning with Week 1, Reimagining the Digital Economy. Week 2, Building Resilient SME Brands. Week 3, the changing phase of the Ghanaian retail market. And Week 4, Understanding and Leveraging Agribusiness Value Chains. Also, tune in every weekday at 9:05 a.m. for the Citi Business Festival On Air series on the Citi Breakfast Show on 97.3 Citi FM to acquire the information you need to kickstart and strengthen your business. There will be a lesson for every business on the Citi Business Festival 2023 this June, only on Citi TV, 97.3 Citi FM, citibusinessnews.com, and on CNR Digital. The Citi Business Festival 2023 is powered by Citi TV and Citi FM in partnership with APSA and is proudly sponsored by MTN Momo and MTN Business with support from GESO.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Welcome back to the Citi Business Festival, our on-air series on radio. My guest, Robert Lindsay, a man who's worked in the private sector. Very interestingly, I think your work life has been nicely split between working privately and working publicly. Yes. I don't know how long you've worked, but you sort of have found a way to transition. Just a quick thought on that. How different is it working for government from working for, say, Coca-Cola?
It's like chalk and cheese.
Wow.
Completely different. I will be very honest with you. You see, when you work for a corporate like Coca-Cola, the systems are so structured that you are almost, you don't have an option of going outside a certain area. They encourage creativity, but it's done within a very straight jacket. While in government, I have found a lot more flexibility. So, I mean, let me give you a very small example. In the time I was working in government, a performance report, something that in Coke I almost did every quarter. I very rarely did it. And that was something very strange to somebody who's working in the private sector, where your performance is being judged against your outcomes. So these are some of the things that I just as an example. But the two are key. The important thing to remember is that you can't do one without the other. And that's one of the reasons why I went to the public sector.
The other point is that for some countries like Singapore, they built strong public sector.
Yes.
I had mates in business school from Singapore who were going back to work for government, even though a lot of people, when they came to do an MBA, wanted to transition into another job in Europe. These guys had well-paid jobs in public sector, and they were very proud to go back and work for government.
You see, Bernard, I think this is one of the greatest opportunities that we have today. When I look at the constitution that we have in Ghana now, it only states that the president has to take a majority, that's, let's say 51% from parliament. 49% can still come from outside parliament. And one of the things I liked about Lee Kuan Yew, he did not waste time on how much he paid you. He focused on what you're going to deliver. And so when you look at, now it's called the Economic Development Board of Singapore, the sorts of salaries people were being paid there, but compared to what they were delivering, it became an important factor. And I think we have still got a huge opportunity in Ghana to leverage the skill set of our private sector, because you can't do without the other. The two are so critical to each other's success.
Open our eyes to how connected the world is when it comes to production. A lot of times people feel this country is known for this. Yes. Switzerland produced chocolates. Germany produced cars. Bangladesh, they do textile. Pakistan, they do the footballs. But I get the sense that production is increasingly becoming globalized.
Yes.
Where countries are focusing on very specific things. So a small, tiny part of a product could be imported from Ecuador to be brought to Germany, to be joined to something made in Japan, to be sold in the US. So it looks like there's a lot of different things happening in that particular space. Just work with me and explain a bit how these global supply chains work and why Ghana and how Ghana can begin to think about being a bigger player in those spaces.
So, Bernard, here is the reality. The global supply chain started even at slavery time. The British Empire, the Portuguese Empire, it was about supply chain. It was about supplying the raw material base that was important for the Industrial Revolution of the North. That's why they did it. They didn't come here because they wanted to come in and see Africans or Indians. They needed a supply of raw materials. So supply chain management has been, to me, at the core of everything imperialistic over the past 300-400 years, if you look at it. You can look at our cocoa as a prime example. Gold, timber, bauxite, copper from Zambia. The North has not had the raw material, but what they had focused on is making sure they could source the raw material and process them in the North. Create the jobs, create the value, and make sure that value stayed there. So when you're looking at the supply chain, what has happened now in the more recent past is that because of the way the world has opened up with technology, it's even easier. So today, a buyer can sit in Frankfurt, London, Tokyo, New York, and at the press of a button, source from everywhere in the world without leaving their office. And in the past, you have to have a link, you have to have shipping, and they can do everything without leaving. So what that is telling you is that increasingly, supply chain is becoming more complex. It is global in nature, and is also extremely competitive. If you want to sell rock salt for the petrochemical industry, you can get it from Brazil, from India, from China, from the Caribbean. And you don't have to go anywhere to go and get it. So The supply chain system is based on that. If you look at large corporates, they have whole departments. All they look at is ensuring that their supply chain is absolutely solid. Because if you don't sort out your supply chain, you are finished. Add to the fact that technology and transport has made the ability of having transnational supply chains much easier. Your point you were making. Airbus is built in how many countries? Bit from here, bit from there, bit from here, but then assembled finally, I believe, in France. But it's come from all over the EU in different parts. The same can be said even of our dear chocolate. The beans come from here, the packaging comes from there, then we then go and buy Swiss chocolate. But all that should be telling us is that if you want to start providing global products, now I'm talking about global, I'm not talking domestic yet, I'm separating the two. If you want to supply global products, you have to understand that the market you are involved in, the nature of that market, and how competitive that market is that you are trying to get involved in. So it means that your homework and your competitive advantage, your unique selling points, has to be so clear to make sure that when you take that product from country A to country B, you can say, I can provide you this, and this is why you should buy my product versus the one that you've either been buying already or somebody else is trying to pitch to you.
Are things like AGOA and EPAs the way to go? So Africa Growth Opportunity Act, tariff-free, quota-free access, wide range of products, like they call it the non-traditional exports, textiles, yam. Are those things what we need in 2023, those kinds of things? Because I feel like there's still the need for some forbearance from the side of the advanced world for entry into certain markets. Because when I visited the WTO, one of the big conversations was around, they call it market access, where countries are stridently protecting their markets, the Europeans, the Americans, the Chinese. There's always conversations about what you can sell where. Now, so in terms of market access for our products, our NTEs, is it still important for us to be asking for those kinds of favorable terms to give our producers a chance to get a feel of what it means to produce globally?
So I think this is where it's a bit of a yes and no. We have had these agreements for an awful long time, Bennett, and we have still not been able to breach some of these markets. Why? Because the protectionism is still very high in this market. You try and get a processed agricultural process in the EU, then you see what protectionism means. Try and get certain types of products into the US, and you understand what protection means, both tariff and non-tariff barriers. So on the one hand, I understand very, very clearly the importance of giving an opportunity for us to access those markets. But there's a flip side to that I want to come to. There is an economic theory that says that when you are manufacturing, you cover your fixed costs locally and sell at the marginal cost. All that means is that basically you must make sure that you can sell your products locally to cover basically your fixed costs, the cost you can't do anything about. That means you must have a big enough local market to absorb that. Then you can use the marginal cost of making an extra product to fight outside market. This links in very clear to even the source of AFTA. Most groups gain their economic wealth from trading with each other, an average of 60-odd%. So if you look at EU, the Americas, Asia, about 60% of all their business is done with each other, which tells me they're covering their fixed cost. In Africa, we average about 17%, which means that we are trying to recover so much of the cost of production from outside, you're almost hamstrung before you started the journey. So I think that, yes, those things are important, but we will never, in my opinion, be able to take advantage of those properly until we build a strong enough local market to absorb a bigger chunk of the cost of our production.
But when we talk about the African market,
yes,
I understand your point about your fixed costs are covered locally. So let's say Africa is our domestic market.
Yes.
But the market is not just customers.
No.
For a market to be effective, there must be affordability. People must be able to purchasing power. So this African market that we discussed after, is it actually that big?
So here's where sometimes I think we do ourselves a disservice. You know, we spend billions. I'll give you some numbers. Let me just give you some numbers that we'll go through. So these are the numbers these are Africa, what Africa imports today. It doesn't import it by layaway plan or loan. They pay for it. The latest numbers I have is 2019. 52 billion of petroleum oils and products, bitumen. $19 billion worth of cars and motor vehicles.
Wow.
Okay. 15 billion of commodities. 14 billion of petroleum oils and oils. 12.5 billion of medication consistent of therapeutic or prophylactic uses. $12 billion worth of telephone sets, including cellular network, wireless network. We spend money.
Wow.
We spend money.
So we can't say there's no money here.
We spend $6.5 billion every Africa on importing for tractors, motor vehicles, and so forth. Africa spends nearly $6 billion every year on rice.
Wow.
So when we end, let me give it out to Ghana. We spend $250 million every year importing fake hair into Ghana. And we say we don't have money. No. The question is not we don't have money. The question becomes, I believe, do we have ourselves set up as a country? When I say set up as a country, I'm talking about the private sector and government, not just government, the private sector players. Are we set up to supply the needs of the market? Are we truly market-driven or still command-driven, command economy, where we think you build it or you make it and they'll come, it's working? Are we supplying what the market wants? And when I say set up, that includes even our financial institutions. Have you looked at the percentage of the balance sheet of banks that lend to businesses? I mean, look, let's be honest. I know you're talking to some institution, they're doing a great job, but let's also be honest. What is the percentage of banks' lending book to the private sector?
Very low.
You know, in India, you can't retain your banking license if you don't have a certain percentage of your balance sheet to the SMEs. I think it's 20%.
Wow.
Or you lose your banking license. So these are some of the things where, at least, this is where my private sector trade. Because when you're in a company like Coke, fast-moving consumer products, they are so glued on to what the consumer wants. And when they get it wrong, like New Coke, you remember that story?
Yes.
They backtrack as far as you can move. Because the consumer is truly king.
So the purchasing power is there.
I believe the purchasing power is there.
What about tastes? Because again, I see like food. I always say food is a low-hanging fruit.
Yes.
Entertainment and leisure. Seems as if even with food, we have not added value to our foods. A lot of people are eating foreign foods and kids. I mean, you give your child rice water or you give them Tom Brown and they are asking for Cocoa Pops and they're asking for cornflakes. Now, I'm not saying we shouldn't add value to, but it seems as if right from the onset, people are trained and primed to prefer what is imported. And that's also part of the struggle, because if the people are not willing to spend their money on what is made here, then you're going to have a problem covering that fixed cost, as you said.
3 things I want to bring to that. 1, are we really patriotic as a people where we spend our money? Do we put our cities to support Ghanaian businesses? Secondly, variety is the spice of life. If people want a particular type of rice, grow the damn rice for them. Excuse my French. I'm sorry. If that's what they want, it's a variety. Go buy it and grow it. I mean, it's not because
you can't reinvent the wheel.
It's consumer-led. Consumer is king. That is something that has been the key aspect of what we do forever. And then finally, have we truly supported with actions for us to create domestic manufacturers that are capable of meeting the first 2 points I'm talking about? So if Ghanaians do decide, I remember when you guys had your program about Eat Ghanaian Rice. For one stage, we couldn't find any rice anywhere.
People bought all of it.
They just bought it. So it tells me that maybe the appetite is there. I look at some of our businesses, Bernard, and you realize that succession is one of our problems. How many companies are around today that were around 40 years ago, 30 years ago in Ghana? So that's what becomes a challenge. But it is a challenge, not unsurmountable. And I really want to stress that because the opportunity is there. I want to give you a couple other numbers. So these are things that what Ghana exports currently and what Africa imports currently. So let me give it plastics and articles thereof. We export 204 million. Africa imports 22 billion.
Wow.
So that tells me we're already involved in it. In Africa.
So we export 204 million and
Yes.
Africa imports
22 billion.
Wow.
Of plastics and articles. Let me give you another one. Animals or vegetable fats and oils, products, edible fats. We export 76 million. Africa imports 7.7 billion.
Wow.
Let me give you another one, which will drive home even more. We export cocoa and cocoa derivatives. We export 52 million. Africa imports 3.3 billion.
Wow.
Products of millet industry, malt, starches, insulin, wheat, gluten, 40 million. Africa imports just under 2 billion.
So there's a lot of opportunities, potential.
And we are already in it. That's what I'm saying. It's not as if we are trying to now. So it's something we already know, but how do we leverage it to the level where we can, let's say, provide 30% of Africa's needs? Why not? If we can do with Côte d'Ivoire 67% of cocoa in the whole world, why can we not provide 70% of Africa's cocoa derivatives needs between us and Côte d'Ivoire? Why not?
A lot of food for thought coming in from Roberta Lindsay, speaking to us on producing to compete globally. Some really important numbers to work with. But Robert, thank you as ever for being on the program. We wish you well. Hope to talk to you again soon on other platforms. This week has been on the retail markets, supply chain issues. My guest, Roberta Lindsay, educating us and throwing the limelight on some key opportunities within the production space and how Ghana can take advantage. Thank you for listening to us.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
Out of over 10 million Ghanaians employed, only 1.9 million are actively contributing to SNIT. For most people, their retirement plan is either their children or savings. What if your child is unable to care for you? Long life depletes your savings, or you suffer permanent disability. Financial support from loved ones in your old age is a blessing, but you should not rely solely on them. Whether you're a fashion designer, an online entrepreneur, a lawyer, or a business owner, today, life is good, but tomorrow may be different. Register with SNIT and sign up for SEED for old age pension, invalidity pension, and survivor's lump sum benefit for your nominated dependents. Take control of your future. Ayo Dacho, Fano Pass now. Dial *711*9# to pay your contributions. Contact SNIT on 0302-611-622 or on socials at SNIT Ghana. SNIT, we deliver on our promise. T's and C's apply.
SSNIT. Here you go, dear.
Mom, you didn't add milk.
No need to. Taste and see why.
Wow, but how?
Is it milky?
Very.
Is it creamy?
Yes.
That's Milo all-in-one for you. It's so milky, eh? I don't need to add more milk.
I love it, Mommy.
Give your kids all-in-one. It's truly milky and rich in calcium. Milo, energy to go further. This advert is FDA approved.
City TV is live on DSTV, GoTV, and HD+. On DSTV, find us on channel 363. On GoTV, we're on channel 117, and on HD+, get us on channel 108. On a digital TV, run a new search, but take note that without an antenna, you cannot access City TV. City TV can be accessed on any free-to-air digital box like the GoTV and HD+ boxes. City TV, it's your world.
Anytime is a good time to have a break. Introducing Munchie Anytime Crackers. It's perfect for break times, party times, movie times, and snack times. Savor the moment. Enjoy Munchie Anytime Crackers anytime. Munchie Anytime Crackers. It's light and tasty.
This outfit is FDA approved.
If you want a British degree from a world-class university at a fraction of the cost, then join Lancaster University Ghana right here in Accra. With a diverse student community, vibrant campus life, and 50% scholarship to support your study, Lancaster University Ghana provides you with a world-class education that creates endless opportunities globally. Don't miss this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Apply to join Lancaster University Ghana, where learners become leaders. Admissions are currently open for our October 2023 intake. Apply now for our foundation and undergraduate programs. For more information, contact us on +233 030 221 8989 or send an email to admissions@lancaster.edu.gh. Lancaster University Ghana, the only British university campus in West Africa.
Business today can be overwhelming. That's why you should partner with Carl Bank Business Banking to get the support you need.
Carl Bank Business Banking offers small and medium enterprises a wide range of strategic solutions to support your business efforts. Get financing to improve cash flow, funding for import and clearing of goods, invoice discounting, and funds for local purchase orders to keep your business going and growing. You also get to enjoy the benefits of CalPay, giving thousands of Carl Bank customers access to your products and services right from their mobile devices. There's a solution for every business with CalBank Business Banking. Call CalBank and get support today.
CalBank, forward together.
Twist Cupcake, another quality product from Trillium Industries. McBerry, the original.
This advert is FDA approved.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Unleashing the power of relevant radio. This is Citi.
Mix by mix. In the mix. In the mix.
All right, stop. Collaborate and listen. One man here, one man here, one man here. One baby at the show, and one baby at the show. Mushanani. She a buy one grabiasi. One grabiasi na mi unu. One grabiasi na mi siano.
Time check is 9:47. Old Mutual is 10 years old and is in celebrating a decade of greatness. We have some very interesting things to say to you. We are a leading financial service provider that offers innovative customer solutions across Ghana. We have a workforce of over 500 employees across the country, playing crucial roles in championing customer operations. We are the first insurance brand to introduce WhatsApp insurance and an annuity package. Old Mutual provides superior customer service to clients through a 16-hour call center facility, a WhatsApp chatbot, and self-service portal for easy accessibility. Call 0501-579-204. Visit oldmutual.com.gh for more information. Old Mutual, do great things every day. All right, now the Charismatic Evangelistic Ministry is doing something very interesting. They are launching something called the Ability Village, Nathan. The Ability Village. Now, it's an interesting idea where they want to, I think, empower people who are disabled to do things for themselves and to learn trade and all kinds of interesting things. And so I'll be speaking to the general overseer and the founder of the church briefly on this Ability Village that they are launching on Saturday at a place not too far from your hometown. Where are you from?
I'm from La.
No, I thought you have some. I thought you were from Ning Pram Pram.
No, my mom's from Pram Pram.
Sorry. So at a place not too far from your mom's hometown. The place is called Agotokope.
I see.
Do you know the place?
No.
You don't travel. Agotokope is in. It's not what's funny. You are damn people. You sound like Ewes because Kope is an Ewe name. I'm
not Adam.
No, your mother is from Pram Pram.
Yes, but they are Dangbes.
But Adam people are Dangbe people. My point is, how does Kope become a Dangbe word? Because Kope is an Ewe word.
What does it mean?
Kope, village.
Okay.
Or community. So you don't even know Kope. I'm not a serious man. So I want to speak to him on the CEM Ability Village project, which incidentally he will be launching with the vice president on Saturday. So it's a big event if you've seen the billboards around. Now, Reverend Steve Mensah, for those of you who know, for many years was a musician before he became a preacher. Stanley and Steve, many years ago. Now he's a big man of God. He's joining us for a quick interview on the Ability Village that they are championing this weekend. Reverend, thanks for joining us. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much, Avlet, for having me on the show.
It is so good to have you. How are you doing? How is the ministry business?
The ministry is doing very well. We just finished our 21 days praying and waiting upon the Lord, just like other churches are all doing, because it's the mid-year, and we want to still continue to pray and ask God for His grace and mercy.
Wonderful. I've been fascinated by your focus on disability, because I know you do something called the Day of Help, which is like a big day where you bring disabled people and you give them different kinds of things. This Ability Village thing, is it like another dimension of that Day of Help thing?
Yes. You know that the Day of Help is a day set aside for only disabled people of all kinds, persons with albinism, burn survivors, physically challenged, hearing impairment, and visually impaired, and all kinds of people. Sometimes the number 10, 15,000. We are doing it from region to region, and that is like a piecemeal approach where we are just handing them with mattresses, buckets, food items, soaps, and so many things that they will need daily. But the Ability Village is going beyond the piecemeal approach, and this time giving them a place to stay, empower them, educate them, and especially give them serious medical attention. Because as part of our activities in rural Ghana, we've been doing free medicals and surgeries for these people. And you'll be surprised, you'll be surprised the kind of medical attention that these disabled people need. And so at the village, we are building about 3 specialized hospitals, and we are building a technology hub, an industrial park, and then we are providing about 9,000 homes for disabled people. It's going to be a 2,000-acre land, about 6.5 miles, to host about 69,000 families.
This is a mega project. So what started as your rural evangelism, where you support the disadvantaged, which then became the Day of Help, is now going to become a whole village where you are building all these things. But this seems like millions of dollars. I mean, what's the size of the plot and what type of equipment are we looking at?
Okay, now you know that we started our rural crusade many years, about 35 years ago. And as part of our crusade activities, we give out clothing, shoes and bags and food items to very old and very sick people. They realized that more disabled people were coming to our food aid and medical programs. And so we decided, okay, the way they are numbering, let's now set a day aside in the program to do only for disabled people, because sometimes the able stampede the disabled for items. If you watch our videos, you see that there's always a stampede for clamoring of things. So we set a day just for them. We cut off the area. We don't allow any able person to join the disabled people, so that the disabled people, those who are walking on the ground, those who are crawling, those can't see well, can be able to walk and talk and come for their items in peace. And sometimes I remember there was a time when a certain woman came with her 2 disabled children. They were both crawling on their hands and knees on the temperature that was almost about 38, 39, and they had come like a half a mile or almost a mile to the ground to collect their items. So I decided with some of my members to carry their items to where they were coming from. And I followed this woman as she crawled slowly and to where she lived. When we got to where she was living with her 2 children, a dog would not even sleep there. It was so bad. That was when I said, no, we have to not only give them food items and mattresses and things, but let's believe God to build a home also for them. Housing deficit is a serious issue in this country. So you can, even those of us who are able, look at how many times we find it very difficult to put up a house or to even rent a place, let alone pay advance and all that. So you can imagine where some of these people are staying, especially in rural Ghana. Very, very, very depressing. So we came up with the idea that, look, let's build a village and house these people, train them, and then, because the person is physically challenged, but his hands and his brains are working. But there's no enabling environment for him to showcase what he can do. So that is what led us to start looking for a place, and we have to go all the way to Shai Osudoko Kotokofe, and went and met some of the chiefs, and we asked them, because that place, the flat land, lots of flat land, and we asked them whether we can be able to procure 2,000 acres. They say, yes, you can. And we've been paying bit by bit, and now we've gotten close. We've gotten about 500 now, and they say, okay, you can come now and break ground, and whilst you are building, you can acquire the rest of the land.
Wow.
So if you have a lot of money, you can send some to me, and I'll buy more land.
I was going to ask you how you are going to fund this, because you're putting up 3 hospitals, 9,000 accommodation. This is mega. How are you going to fund this?
Yeah, we are believing. You know that there are billionaires around the world who have lots of money stashed for corporate social responsibilities. They are looking for credible, genuine projects they can fund. There are all kinds of funds out there. So we have written to a couple of companies. We are hoping that somebody listening to me out there has a lot of money, doesn't know what to do with it. And we are also asking civil society in Ghana here. There are companies, organizations, embassies, and all kinds of companies in this country who can also support and help. And we are believing God that people will come to the village and say, okay, let me see the kinds of units you have in the village. Okay, I want to build 10 houses. I want to build, my company will do 20. I want to build the industrial hub. I want to build the technology hub. I want to build a part of the hospital. We have schools. We have all kinds of amenities. On the groundbreaking day, you will see all the things we want to put up in the enclave. And civil society, companies, organizations, embassies can come in to come and build something for the people. So it is a very strong step of faith. It's like we are walking on water, believing God that we'll get to the end of the shore. So we are also launching what we call 10 for ability. If you notice on our page and on Facebook, 10 of any amount, $10, 10 yen, 10 pounds, 10 naira, 10 sefa, 10 cedis, because we have Ghanaians scattered all over home and abroad who can afford to text to a code, a short code that we have provided, and they can, for the next 1 year, trusting God for 1 million people to take 10 of any amount to kickstart the project. When somebody says he wants to help you, he wants to see how you are helping yourself, then he can come in with his help. So with money to pay a large chunk of the money for the land, we are launching the 10 Ghana Affordability. You know, my church cannot do this project, otherwise my church will just break. So we are just launching the 10 Affordability. And I must say that it's catching on. People are getting interested. We've received calls. People are asking more questions. And so we are trusting God that civil society, organizations, banks, KO Foreign Limited, the group of companies, Fund Eyes, lot of companies and organizations in this country, Dangote Cement, Jata Cement, Diamond Cement, all these people should come and donate 10,000 of their cement to my village so I can do it for people.
I like that. So on Saturday, the 24th, you are launching it, and the guest of honor is the vice president. So what's happening on that day briefly? Is just a sword cutting, a commissioning? What's happening on that day?
Yes, it's groundbreaking. You know, we've done the commissioning already. We've done the launching already. Now we are going to the grounds to actually break grounds and start work. So the Expenditure the vice president, who has followed with great interest this project, we decided to extend a hand of invite to him. Even though he's a very, very, very busy man at this point in time, he has pledged his unflinching support, his availability on this project. So he's coming to break ground and lay the first brick and plant a tree. And then 2 weeks from next Saturday, we will hit the ground running public.
Wonderful. I wish you well, Reverend, and we'll be supporting you. Thank you so much for talking to us. Reverend Dr. Steve Mensah is the founder and General Overseer of CEM, Charismatic Evangelistic Ministries. They are launching the Ability Village at Agotokope this Saturday. Vice President is guest of honor. Huge project, hospitals, different things, technology hubs, and all kinds of things to support the disabled. And it's a laudable project which we endorse. Let me say a happy birthday to my good friend Charles Quatting. He used to give me Hearts of Folk jerseys. Yes, he used to give me. He is the MD of Spec Up Limited. He used to give me my phobia jerseys until I don't know where he's gone. So I don't get phobia jersey again, Charles. So even though you are no longer working with us, please, I need the new season phobia jersey. Happy birthday to you, Charles. May you live long, like the oak tree. That's all we have time for, Nathan. Yeah, that's all we have time for.
Yeah.
Yeah, we finished the show. We'll come back tomorrow and continue. Charlie, how is happy? She's just